a certain number of podcasts I have to do to get this to 9/11. So Jamie and I worked it out, and we did it.
Let me just say, I was very envious because I'm in my studio under bright lights, and I'm going back to when I was just on radio, that darkness we can really think. This is a wonderful studio.
I'm going to do a studio, my next one, with a fire pit. I'm going to have conversations outside.
I talked about that.
Yeah.
Because it's like primitive. It triggers that.
Yeah. And it's comforting. It feels good. And it's kind of cool lighting. So that's in the next studio we build. I'm going to build a fire pit. I'm going to get some logs, some actual real fire. You can only do that like certain times of year in LA though. Like when they have fire season, they wouldn't let you do that shit.
We just have like a little balcony or like a little outside courtyard with your fire pit, and you kind of.
Yeah, I want a real fire pit. You know, like I feel like if you're gonna have a fire pit, you should have you should have actual logs.
You should move to Hawaii part of the year, and I will too. And then we'll just have a big old fire in the jungle and create a whole renaissance.
This is what we're talking
Donald
about.
Trump will land via helicopter scene.
100% legit.
Well, sure, I'm setting up a news bureau and stuff, but that's just part of it.
Yeah, but like you're in deep with the Trump administration.
Well, I've had Trump on and I talked to him some. Really, it's just that we're covering the resurgence of America, what made the country great, lower taxes, empower the people, bring people together. The opposite of what MSM said. What's happening is mainstream media is literally almost dead. It's collapsing. I mean, look at you. I remember having dinner with you like 6-7 years ago. You're like, yeah, we got $1 million a week. Now it's 90 million or whatever it is a month, and 20 million on YouTube. And for InfoWars, it's similar numbers. It's a good week's 40 million. We've had as many as 85 million people listen on radio and tune into videos in 1 week. That was election week, but our normal is 40-something million. It's just crazy. How can they compete with that? They're still delusional. The average CNN show has like 1 million viewers. Fox thinks it's the big swing of dick. It's got 3-4 million. It's all, I'm sorry, people transmitting and broadcasting to geriatric homes. You know where you see Fox News and CNN in nursing homes. You know what you see with kids 10 years old up to college and beyond. It's a Joe Rogan experience. And it's InfoWars, and it's all these other folks. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a weird time, isn't it? It seems like those shows where you have to tune in from 8 to 9 and you have to sit through the commercials, that's kind of all gone away because of DVRs, because now people just have to wait a few minutes so you can DVR through all the commercials, or you record things after the fact.
I remember you like 15 years ago saying, the internet killed television. They haven't announced it yet. You watch it's going to kill it. Because how can they compete with what you can do on the internet? You know, a guy getting screwed by a horse or whatever it is. I mean, how the hell can you compete with all this craziness?
Did you see the guy in China that got jacked by the tiger today?
I did see that
Yesterday, actually. Was it yesterday?
Like, let me not pay admission and just go through here.
Well, they even shot at the tiger, so they scattered the tiger. They shot the tiger to get him off this dude. And then even after the bullets were shot off, this tiger was like, nah, fuck that, I'm going back in. And he ran in after they shot at him and finally killed the dude. And it was all, everybody got their phone up and they're all filming it. It's so crazy. No, he jumped in. He wanted to get killed. Yes. Yeah. That was another guy who went in with the lion and tried to convert them to Christianity. Did you ever see that guy?
Oh, that's crazy.
He went in with the Bible. He's trying to convert the lions. The lion just fucked him up.
I'll tell you what's crazy about that though is, imagine those
Maybe he
lions.
wasn't trying to convert him. Maybe he was just like praying the motherfucking lion.
No, he went in on his own. He was talking to them in the name of Jesus, and he's like talking to. You never seen it? Jamie, pull it up.
You're definitely probably schizophrenic.
See, here he is. He gets in there and he's talking to the lions. This motherfucker just jumped the fence and decided he was going to convert the lions to Christianity. And lions are apparently like way cool than tigers.
And they're like, what is going on here?
Tigers see people and they just fuck them up immediately. The lion like barely fucked that guy up. Just kind of.
Well, that's because they're more tribal or more like dogs, pack animal. They're only captains of the pack or a group, so they're not, as exactly. When a tiger sees you, you're in a territory, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, tigers are totally different beasts.
Like tigers sometimes will like adopt a little animal, like a wild dog or something, like licking on it, being nice to it, like all the other ones eat it. Yeah, they do weird stuff.
But remember, the only way you could see this before was with those animal attack videos. Remember those?
Animal
And
attack.
they always started the same way. You start off with a dog attack, the dog attacking a mailman, and iguanas out, attack your leg, and then it slowly ends up with drunk Mexicans at a rodeo on a wild bull with a rope. And those bulls are smart as hell. They drag them, these drunk Mexicans, and they drag their heads along the rails and just crush these dudes in between the railing, like some serious
Brain trauma.
yeah.
Vicious brain trauma.
They need one with just 100% of that, because that was the most exciting show.
Alex Jones, how the fuck is TV going to compete with that? See, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, they can't compete.
So
So
I was kind of wrong though, because Netflix is TV and it's also the internet. It's like both things.
sure, it's
You know?
forcing the power of Hollywood to basically disperse them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's better if it gets if the ability to get your workout gets to more people. It's better. It's better if anybody can do like these
And much
YouTube
more
stars.
competition.
Yeah, like these new YouTube stars. Like all they have to do is stand in front of a camera. It's zero production value. They don't have. I mean, if you got a camera, you got an internet connection, you got a YouTube show, people find you interesting. All of a sudden, you've got millions and millions of subscribers. I mean,
Andy was bringing up this fact to your audience up front. A lot of MSM lies, since I'm this big right-wing guy. But you guys know that I was really against George W. Bush.
yeah, you were arrested early on in the Bush administration. I remember when we first became friends in 1999. We were running around the White House or the state capitol lawn with George Bush Jr. and Senior masks on, and you were always against
Sure,
the
because
Bush
that's why I
administration.
supported Trump is the entire power structure, the media, I mean, the Vatican, the Communist Chinese, the Saudi Arabians all put money in and said, stop him, and then lied to the Russians were giving him money with no proof. And so the issue is he's simply trying to actually be president and not have special interest in there running him. And that's why the whole power structure is against Trump. So Andy was asking for online, well, how is it you're this outside guy against the establishment, but now you're for it? No, Trump's trying to create a beachhead, just to explain it, to try to take the country back and actually devolve power back to the states and back to people. Doesn't mean he's perfect, but notice the stock market went up $1.2 trillion, just in the last month or so, because a lot of institutional investors and others understand that Trump is trying to create real prosperity, not a bunch of social engineering. I'm not here to pitch Trump to people. The issue is that there were major intelligence agencies and patriots in the government who were sick of what was happening and were sick of Hillary and Obama, backing jihadist groups and other things. And so they're rolling those groups up right now. They really are standing up against them. And this is a historic moment. And so there's been a counter coup through the electoral process in our country. And that's what WikiLeaks was. That wasn't the Russians. That was U.S. intelligence agencies. I said 2 months ago that Anthony Weiner in New York, Uma Abedin's husband, the former congressman that was working for Hillary, I said that he's under investigation for child porn. Okay, and then now it came out yesterday that they're looking at indicting him for child porn. Well, I had that from the NYPD.
That came out yesterday.
Yes.
Wow. Why? What did he do? He had something on his computer.
Well, now they won't tell us, but I was told that tied into that whole Pizzagate thing, which again, the media misrepresented what we said did. It came out in all those WikiLeaks, all these weird codes. Okay.
Like there was a bunch of weird codes about pizza and about a piece of pizza.
President Obama wants $5,000 in hot dog delivery. They're like, are these really good hot dogs? The hot dogs weren't good last time, but these are succulent. Because that's not about kids. That's
How retarded do you have to be?
Well, what is that about?
It's male prostitutes. I mean, that's what the code means.
Really?
Yeah, okay, yes.
How do they get male prostitutes to keep their fucking mouth shut?
Well, because, bad things happen if you don't.
Federal child porn charges possible for Anthony Weiner.
But I'm on record months ago saying that that's the case because I have those sources. And so the government, good elements of the government know what's really going on. So the media then misrepresented and said, oh, look at 4chan. They're talking about a thing called Pizzagate, some pizza place in D.C. And the media looks at it and says, oh, Alex Jones is claiming all this bad stuff's happening at this pizza place. I'm like, what is this? So they diverted some probably innocent pizza place to distract off of all the emails that the New York police have and the FBI have. That's just this monstrous reported pedophile network. So to discredit that, they go create a fake story, hoping we jump on it to then divert over to that story. And then once we're on that, it diverts everybody off from Anthony Weiner. What? Which leads reportedly to a larger network
So they're playing that far ahead. So they're literally attacking a pizza place with fake stories just so that people can focus on that and take attention off Anthony Weiner.
Yes, because
Why
it was
would they-
connected to that story. It was
Yeah.
connected to
Podesta,
the stuff in D.C.
Pastor,
and New York
yeah.
and all this other crazy stuff. So I
But
would
let's,
think,
because we're making a lot of like long sentences here and a lot of long statements.
here's
So
what I'm
let's,
saying.
but let's. There are a lot of people that are going, "What the fuck is Pizzagate?" There was this Ben Swan guy who did this recent piece about it, and a lot of people got very angry. Did you see the piece? Did you see the piece that he did? It seemed to me to be pretty measured, and he was making some connections between that symbol for child pedophilia,
Yes.
and or just pedophilia, right? And
The logo.
the logo for the pizza place. He also made. Did he make the Hastert connection with Podesta?
Well, Hastert
Confirmed child molester
and best buddies with Podesta.
and former Speaker of the House.
And then you expand on that.
Right, but let's just do it step at a time because it's really kind of important stuff. So that's all 100% true, right? So it's true that Hastert's in jail. It's true that Hastert is a known pedophile that is
So
just
it's true
a
that-
serial pedophile, right?
Yes.
That's true. It's 100%. It's true that Podesta was friends with Hastert. That's 100%, right?
Yes.
And then all this other stuff now becomes odd. Doesn't it become odd? But if you say it's odd, if you look at it, this Ben Swan guy with this, what I thought was, he was just kind of expressing what is weird about this case. And when he did it, he got so much shit over it. I was kind of shocked. People were calling him a moron and
Well, listen, I got
rehabilitation.
the same thing, but that's what I'm saying. They build a straw man. So
Right.
imagine thousands of emails come out with them talking about, we'll have the kids ready 6, 7, and 8 in the hot tub at this time. And they're,
I didn't see anything like that.
it gets really
Where
crazy.
did it say that?
It was in
Whose
the emails. There's freaking thousands of them.
But it said we'll get the kids in the hot tub.
Yes.
I never saw that. Can you see if you can find that, Jamie? That seems like it's just the whole thing's so bizarre.
It's like, we're going to have the kids delivered for entertainment. They'll be in the hot tub. Now, these are great kids, but kids can be kids.
You know what's fucked up about it is how few people really mention that connection to Hastert. I would have thought that would be a huge constant.
Well, Joe, I love the fact that, and I'm
American
guessing your answer
story.
is true, that they're very astute. I just bring up this whole big topic of how they twist things. You go right to the key points that, okay,
That's a
we
big
have
one.
Barney Frank, who got caught running a underage male prostitute ring in the 90s out of his 3-story townhouse.
See, I thought it was just a male prostitute thing. I didn't know
No,
they were
somewhere
underage.
underage, somewhere underage. And then, but listen, what
Because I was with him all up to age 19 plus.
But then what happened is he goes on C-SPAN on the House floor and says, if you continue to investigate this, I'm going to expose half of you that are involved in this room. The investigation got shut down. So the reason this is important is for shadow government, you need something so bad that everybody who's involved in it ever comes out will be destroyed. So that binds them all to secrecy.
So that's where child pornography comes in. That's where pedophilia comes in.
That's where you get so many of the elite being into it, just as you should. You have the Republican establishment trying to get Hastert out of nowhere as a wrestling coach to run for office, and reportedly he's the procurer, just like Penn State, and just like they had Sandusky and the underage, kids they were quote mentoring, getting farmed out to supposedly big donors.
What's
So
crazy
this
is this is so we're talking about two very specific cases, or two very different cases. But what's crazy is they're both real. Both real. 100% Sandusky, who was a very respected man in the community, did a lot of charity work with young, disenfranchised children, and was molesting them at the same time, and was super respected in the community. And he was the right-hand man to Joe Paterno. So that whole thing just fell apart.
And the headquarters from our research of the pedophilia is like Pennsylvania.
Right.
Okay.
What about the Franklin covenant?
And that's up in
Hold on, what does this say, Jamie? It says we plan to heat the pool so possibly Bonnie will be Uber service to transport Ruby Emerson and Maeve Lozado 11, 9, and almost 7. So you'll have some further entertainment, and they will be in that pool for sure. What in the fuck?
that's only one of them.
And that's a real confirmed email,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Jesus Christ.
Well, listen, here's the problem. So, I have NYPD telling me before the election, like a month before, yes, we're investigating Weiner, child porn photos, not just of kids out in the internet, but kids he's communicating with, and their parents are basically letting them communicate with him. So I'm told this by NYPD detectives. I mean, the Secret Service gave me information about how Hillary was collapsing all the time. Remember we reported that they got caught on So all this stuff goes on and on and on. And so I'm not saying half the people or 90% of them, are guilty or innocent in all this. All I know is we start covering it, start asking questions. They then divert off into somebody on a 4chan forum pointing out there was some email about a meeting at some pizza place in D.C. where top Democrats go. They then turn the whole thing into I'm blaming some pizza place. I'm sending shooters in to shoot people at a pizza place. Make up all this crazy ass crap. When I never
All I
even said
know
any
is
of that. And
we
then
start
we
covering
go
it,
back to
start
2 months ago, 3 months ago. I
They
said
then
that
divert
Lisa
off
Bobby
into
investigated
somebody on
their
4chan
for pedophilia and child porn when it was not in the news. Now knows it's in the news. What I'm saying is,
Okay.
I got this from police.
Slow down before we get away from this. I got to go back to that. There's a quote up there that Jamie pulled up that I wanted to read. The one on the lower bottom about this. Now, these are the emails that you were talking about, and these are 100% confirmed emails. Go back to that one that was on the bottom. Scroll down.
Again, I'm not saying any of these people are guilty.
Yeah, what is that?
I'm
Just
saying this is
highlighted.
the
Okay, hold on a second here. So 6 grown-ups with 2 toddlers and 2 infants spread throughout the house, and sure enough, one of the toddlers was rubbing my nose at 5:45. What the fuck does that mean?
The FBI has a whole news
Parents
program.
got back to retrieve the children. They threw in the towel. And what?
No, fuck.
I don't know, man. This is, like, I don't know what the fuck those emails mean. But let's just now. I mean, everybody wants to immediately shoo this away. It's disgusting.
But
They
then
come
in
on
the
a second.
middle of it,
Impossible.
we're
But
hearing-
we're talking about 2 very specific proven cases,
Yes.
right? Pastor, proven. Sandusky, proven. Real, huge, elite, powerful people that were also active pedophiles, right?
yes,
So that's a fact.
who know each other and are buddies. And then you've got Podesta's brother who's big in Washington. In an article in 2007 in the Washington Post, I'm trying to give the exact headline, which was something like radical art or something. And it's like naked photos of the neighborhood kids in their house, and then they're showing it, throwing it in your face. It's just crazy. But that's not even stuff I get into.
But there is something to that because some of his artwork was super disturbing that he had in his house. Like,
Well, it turns out
with
you
their
know all about this.
pink butts.
Yeah.
They were in their underwear and it looked like they had been paddled.
Yeah.
And they were all standing there with their butts facing.
See,
It's
as usual,
very
Joe knows
bizarre.
more about this than I do. See, and that's all I do is cover these real things. So let me give you the new news.
But that is real.
The government got pissed off about this. The pedophile rings got so big that the intelligence agencies began to leak all this info. And I knew Hillary was planning to steal the election. She did steal the election. The experts group.
How did she do that? What they do? So let's
They
not
tried to break into 6 states.
let's not go on these long meter rants where there's a bunch of different statements that are to be addressed here. So let's just right there. We gotta get to that. Like, how did she steal 5 states? Can't try to gloss over that.
Okay, well, she tried to.
How did she
She
do
tried to
that?
steal 6 states. She did steal 5 states. Well, look, Matt Harris is a big liberal, big Democrat. He's a good documentary act democracy. She's a leading expert. She was actually a month before the election. Through whistleblowers got the actual code that had been loaded on machines all across the country. She never studio to steal the elections.
I saw Hacking Democracy and I saw that they did engineer those voting machines so that you could have a third party input and change it. And they did it live on the show.
And that was a decade ago with Bush. This is new. Okay, so she's the top election fraud expert. So she comes on my show, the stories on Infowars.com, and she says, you've got evidence, and I had the experts on, and I had the industry whistleblowers on, and I had the county officials on at every level of fraud proven that Democrat-connected groups were already loading code on the machines all over the country. Those different companies, about 18% of the country, to be able to remotely break in and flip votes. So, because they were aware of that, a bunch of states were waiting and watching. Homeland Security broke in live into 6 states and kept trying to put the results. They even have screenshots and videos up in the computers in there clicking and doing it. There's major investigations going on. You heard the news like Trump's crazy. He claims illegals voted. Forget about illegals. That was one statement in a larger election fraud deal with actual computers. So Trump knows about all this. So she comes on and says they're planning this fraud. Then she comes on after the election. She says, yes, it's clear. Here's where precincts closed. Here's where all this happened. We're 100% for Hillary. Or right after it closed, all the votes that then came in for 100% for Hillary. They didn't even care. But the landslide was so big for Trump, they couldn't steal it. She successfully stole 5 states. She tried to break into 6 others. Or her controllers did. And got blocked. The tsunami for Trump was so huge. With the real politics we can break down later, that they still weren't able to steal it. And now patriots inside U.S. intelligence agencies are preparing to roll up the see arrests in Pennsylvania, arrests in LA.
I haven't seen these arrests. Who's getting
It's
arrested?
just now breaking, and it's big institutionalized.
474 arrests, 28 sexually exploited children rescued during statewide human traffic operation.
They're getting down.
Holy
There's
shit.
a takeover, right?
Holy shit. But look at the numbers there. 474 people arrested.
But they're only rolling up the Renfields that get the people for the psychic vampires.
There's no insane is it that this is still happening, right? So all the people that thought that this idea that, you know, I mean, whether they tried to make it ridiculous by calling it Pizzagate or connecting it to a pizza place, everybody that thought that was ridiculous. It is not ridiculous that there could potentially be some sort of pedophile ring.
And see how they trick
It's
us.
not
Though. See how
ridiculous.
they trick us. They go pick some pizza place, probably have their people go on, make comments on some message board. CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, the same day come out and say, well, all the emails are discredited from New York and California and Hawaii because there's this innocent pizza place over here that some of the Democrats go to, and they're all saying that's where the pedophiles are at. Okay, so then the internet all goes and looks at that and starts trying to disprove MSM that, oh, there must be something going on there. So then that turns that all into the big quagmire, the smokescreen for all the admitted stuff that's happening. Because again, I was told by my NYPD high-level sources that they got all this stuff on Lear's computer that just got scooped up, during the whole hacking story and the whole story about Hillary and the unsecure servers, and that was being blocked by Obama, and that as soon as Trump got in, they would go back after Weiner. Then I was told by a former section chief from the CIA that indeed this was an operation they were running against them to start leaking all this. And so what you're beginning to see is the beginning of all the pedophilia coming out as they roll up the procurers that grab your kids out of backyards or that go out as social workers and get the kids or whatever. They're rolling all those up right now to get the Renfields. Renfield brings the people to Dracula. That's the allegory. I'm saying
Right. I know what you're
and so
saying.
they're going to now roll it up into the higher level groups right now. That's
Well,
what Trump's doing.
here's what's going on with a lot of this stuff. You have to be real careful in how you describe these things and how you talk about these things because people are looking for any little tiny thing to discredit it. And one of the reasons why they're looking at it, they're doing it for personal reasons because it seems no one wants to be ridiculous. No one wants to be a fool. And no one wants to be someone who's talking about conspiracies that aren't real. So people are very hesitant to talk about something that's unproven but horrific.
Just like
right?
15 years ago, it was a conspiracy theory that the Catholic Church had any pedophilia.
Right.
Now we know
Yeah.
30% were doing it. We now know the old Pope had to step in, was blackmailed with info about other high-level priests, about the new guy that came in. I mean, this is heavy stuff.
It's the Catholic Church stuff is absolutely horrible and proven over and over again. And again, when I was a kid, it was rumor. It was just things that were whispered. You would hear about it.
And now I always wondered how they're getting away with it. It's so out in the open. How come there isn't more
They're
arrest?
psychic vampires stealing the energy from the kids.
But what the most common thing they do
But
is
why
they
don't they
find
get
very
thrown in jail?
the most common thing they do is they find very troubled kids that don't talk.
But these guys get more and more arrogant. It's all I'm telling you is I'm not saying anybody's guilty of these thousands of emails. You go read them and it's like the last walnut sauce you brought wasn't very good. Oh well, these are good walnuts. You're gonna I love walnuts, and then you go read the FBI breakdown what that's code for.
What's code for walnut?
It means people with brown skin.
Oh, geez. Right.
Ooh.
Well,
Ted Gunderson was talking about this for years. FBI chief former.
He discovered a bunch of it in Los Angeles. He was the head of the LA sector.
So people are going to hear this and they go, "Oh, they're a bunch of Pizzagate truthers. These guys are a bunch of Pizzagate truthers." There's an inclination to automatically dismiss things.
Let me be clear. I'm on the air covering 50 topics a day.
Right.
These emails are coming out. I get contacted with one of my sources by people in the NYPD. I get sent documents, photos that are licensed law enforcement. I talk to these people, and they say, "Yeah, no, it's horrible. It's a bunch of pedophilia." You know, it's a bunch of child porn. It's all going to come out. It's tied to all these different groups, and I'm just like, okay. So I go on air and I say, listen, I got this from real NYPD and other sources, and then Eric Prince of Blackwater, who's still one of the biggest groups in the world.
Does he run some sort of military operation in like Bahrain or something now, or Saudi Arabia or something?
Absolutely. The point is that he comes out and says,
UAE.
you can ask Q about it. He knows all about it. But the point is that all this happens, and he comes out in the news. Okay, through the White House ordinance, right? That's basically what it says. Yeah, in the Clinton operation, they're bringing down. And so that's what all this is.
Why did Breitbart tweet about that in 2011? Do you remember that tweet?
Breitbart knew about it.
It came out.
Breitbart said, I'm going to bring out the biggest thing. It's going to bring down the Democrats. And they poisoned him right here in California.
You think they poisoned him?
Oh, absolutely, they killed him.
What happened? I didn't even know how he died. I thought he died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Are you laughing? Fake laughing again? Pull up the
No, I'm laughing at this. No, I know you're quoting the media.
I know. Pull up the
Don't choke me
Breitbart.
out. No.
I won't, buddy. You know I love you.
Anyway,
Pull up the Breitbart email or the Breitbart tweet because it's a
hey,
crazy
it turns out
tweet.
Joe knows all about this.
Well, the tweet is pretty insane. When you read it, you're like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Like, everybody, there's an instantaneous reaction that people have.
Because
That
they're
are
not
intelligent.
pedophiles.
Right.
Every
People that aren't
person is going to
pedophiles.
pedophile.
You're right. You're
So
right.
you tell me people who do this to kids, you don't
Right. You're like, get the fuck out of here. That's nonsense. But when you tell people about the stuff that's been proven, the ones that have been proven, they only count. They don't attach those.
I was on air saying, I'm told this by NYPD and like 3 different. More than that. What they're doing,
That's just what
what they're doing is minimizing it because the higher ups are being told, you don't let this out. Let me tell you, Wiener supposedly had tens of thousands of emails.
Wiener should be a fucking comedian. For sure. He's a freak. He's got real problems. He's a good communicator. I bet he's hilarious. Come on. What do you think?
All I know is, I'm not saying even Wiener is a pedophile. All I know is, listen, we all know about Jerry Epstein, okay? And
I don't know about Jerry.
the Lolita Express, just Google that. And
What is that?
Bill Clinton was like on 20 flights. Doe claiming he'd been with Epstein, even though there's no proof in the law, because they make you log your own private jets. Nothing's ever true. He's been
Here it is. House progressive guru John Podesta isn't household name as world-class underage sex slave cover-upper defending unspeakable dregs escapes me. Early on, did John Podesta imagine his baby MMFA, I don't know what that is, would be covering up for underage sex ops and hate crimes against blacks? Huh. I don't know what that means. What is MMFA, Jeremy? Media Matters.
Yeah, that's Soros, but also guess who owns the pizza place? With Rolls on it's Media Matters head guy David Rock's boyfriend, and that is where they have major Democratic Party fundraisers, and then they had rock bands there that gave live spoken word dissertations of the love of children.
What?
Yeah, I'm talking about guys like in Doc Drag talking about how much they love children.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, I don't even really want to repeat what they were.
There's a video of them saying that.
This is a common ping pong.
So why, why is, this? It's a very, very bizarre subject. But why is this like so easy? What is this right here? You bring it up, Jamie? Yeah, give me some volume.
And you or how can I say this? And you or evil of me and strong. What if you can get I think I would give the answer. more than
some
it's
of the
all the
boys.
artwork that was
Right.
there.
Oh yeah, a lot of creepy artwork connected to that guy. A lot of creepy artwork. I mean, that's a fact. There's a lot of facts. So it's one of those things where, like,
But I'm not
even if
saying
you
they've
bring
done
up,
anything, and you're not saying
and
that.
I'm not either. That's what's really important.
I never even really covered this stuff. And then they had me on the news, and also Swan going, they said these people were killing kids in the basement. They say, okay, Megyn Kelly went on and took a clip talking about Hillary funding jihadis. And Obama back in the Arab Spring that killed tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people. Kids in this country. They edited that out and then cut it together on Fox News with me saying Hillary Clinton rapes and kills children in a basement at Ping Pong Pizza. They literally now edit audio. I was able to
They changed your audio?
I was able to go find the day with video with what I really said and throw it back in their face.
Wow, that's really blatant. That's where's this? Can we watch this? Where is this that they did that?
Sure, I think
you guys have the comparison, the two up.
Yeah, there's something like Megyn Kelly caught a giant lie.
I'm trying to find that. We should play that.
But
That's-
listen, I didn't mean
that's
to get in
fascinating.
here. I didn't mean to get in
First
here.
of all, Megyn Kelly's so pretty, she'd sit there unfortunately.
I mean, she was like an old train.
I love her. Do you? Think she's an old tranny?
Yeah.
You're hilarious.
You like
I
old
love
trannies?
you. No, I don't like old trannies, but I think she's hot. You don't like you don't think Megyn Kelly's
No, I
hot?
just want to insult her. She's lovely.
Oh, she's lovely.
Obviously, she's pretty.
Do you
No, Joe, she's real ugly.
Do you think that she's moved over to NBC? Do you think she's going to change her tune now and go for the liberals?
NBC wants to be the quote new Fox News, so they'll be the new kind of Glenn Beck. I'm a conservative, but I hate conservatives and libertarians, and I'm going to speak for everyone. I can decode it all. So she's going to go over there and be the conservative light and try to get them some ratings.
So it seems like NBC realizes that's where the money is. Is that what you're saying? Want to see how fake news is made from Megyn Kelly on Fox News? Did you find it, Tim? Okay, let's play it here. Here we go. Give us some volume. Pizzagate. Conspiracy gunman.
Megan, as many controversies do these days, it began with a tweet. On October 30th, days after the FBI announced they'd be reopening an investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails, someone on Twitter, whose name remains unverified but has several thousand followers, posted that new emails found on Anthony Weiner's computer confirmed that Hillary Clinton was involved in a pedophilia ring. The Twitter post included information from a Facebook user who stated, quote, "My NYPD source said it's much more vile and serious than classified material on Weiner's device. We're talking an international child enslavement and sex ring."
Hip hop's
The
right.
next day, the
Places should be, but back up in seconds now. This is probably the quote trying to debunk us. What they do is they misrepresent what we're saying. So again, whoever these rogue people were, or I don't know who they are, saying, "Oh look, NYPD says it's Weiner and all this." See how they were saying none of that's happening? Now it's actually starting to come out. I don't know how far or how deep it goes, but this is what Kelly.
Let's let it play out
Sure,
and then
sure.
respond to that.
I'm just not sure what
thought.
Sure, go ahead.
You know what?
information from a Facebook user who stated, quote, "My NYPD source said it's much more vile and serious than classified material on Weiner's device. We're talking an international child enslavement and sex ring." The next day, the bogus claim was picked up by a website called YourNewsWire.com, message boards like 4chan and Reddit, right-wing blogs, and several pro-Trump websites. InfoWars' Alex Jones, a far-right web host, posted a YouTube video seen almost 500,000 times.
When I think about children who are Clinton is personally murdered and chopped up and raped, I have zero fear standing up against them.
The rumor spread, inspiring some newfound internet sleuths to start digging around in John Podesta's hacked emails, searching for proof and location of the so-called sex ring. What they found were numerous references to pizza.
Now here's what Alex Jones actually said.
You can run on. Well, I think about children who were personally murdered and chopped up and raped. I have zero fear standing up against them. Yeah, you heard me right. Hillary Clinton has personally murdered children. Well, tell that long line. I just can't hold back the truth anymore. Hillary Clinton is one of the most vicious serial killers the planet's ever seen. Now, there's a twist to that. Am I talking about the devil worship story with her chief of staff or campaign chairman? The lady at the menu menu of blood, semen, and body parts at the Aleister Crowley event, the private event? Oh no, I'm not talking about that. I mean 200,000 plus dead Christians with her operation with Syria and her operation in Libya, and not letting the Christians get out, and directing Al Qaeda and ISIS, who target and murder children and put them through sex slavery and throw Catholic priests off cliffs and kill people in mass and murder gays and everything else you can imagine because they don't like peaceful people. And they call everybody that they're for open society and they love everybody. Anything they do is for degradation.
And someone could have been killed inside of your restaurant for no good reason other than people like Alex Jones stand a conspiracy theory that even if these police they had no basis in fact.
Yeah, it's a lack of lies, and it's dangerous. What happens if this person was to drive across 4 state lines with an assault rifle and enter a family-friendly restaurant at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday?
I know Reddit has banned this topic on its website. I mean, slowly but surely, those who help ban it are trying to dial it back out of the safety, concern for the safety of those who have been endangered by
Really,
it.
this could happen to anyone. It's not just us. It's any single person.
I know you said there, but it's also surreal until the gun comes in. Wow.
And then some guy, he's a bank man. They got the full clip, they cut the front off, knowing I was actually saying, I don't know about the Satanism before the term Pizzagate was out there, but I do know she's funded the radicals. I came, I saw, they died. Who do rape and kill and cut up kids. So she personally is.
You were making a very provocative statement, and you made a very provocative statement by saying something kind of crazy at first,
Yes.
and then backing it up. And so what they decided to do was just edit a chunk of that. And so they didn't really have to edit it and chop it up, but they did take it as bizarre as it seems, and take it out of context.
And said that I was talking about common ping pong.
Right,
Yeah.
you weren't.
And I was talking about the spirit cooking Aleister Crowley stuff where the lady is written, it's real for her. And they go, they take little kids to these parties, and they have vats of blood. That's one thing if you were an adult wanted to do that, issue some art project. This is real. And so I was talking about the menu where they're in the email saying, we're going to have plenty of blood, plenty of semen for you, and other delicious things on the menu. And he's like, what are the juicies on the menu? And they go, well, we're going to have cheese pizza. We're going to have the nut sauce. We're going to have the pasta. We're going to have, succulent hot dogs. We know you love succulent hot dogs. And they go, oh God, I want to go back to that place in Hawaii that had the best hot dogs. It's like, yes, we've got hot dogs. Obama won $65,000 for the hot dogs. Where were the party? Will the hot dogs be there? And then it's in Stratford and CIA emails that got leaked by WikiLeaks that now people cross-reference where the CIA is like watching, going, look at Obama in Chicago, another hot dog party.
Well,
And I don't care if Obama is at a party with 15 dudes. That's his issue. The point is, though, they can blackmail him for this. And the stuff with
Do you think
Obama,
that's
we
real?
never got pedophile codes with Obama. Yeah, no, it's men. I mean, he said it's
Are you trying to say that Barack Obama is a homosexual?
saying he's bisexual.
How dare you?
I really don't even care.
Have you ever seen him as a man? Do you know this is true?
Well, I've seen him with men walking down the street.
Maybe he just likes to bring dudes in and have conversations with them.
Maybe he just
It's
ordered
very
a
hard to talk to people when you're the head of the free world.
Maybe he had a party with $65,000 for the hot dog.
Yeah, maybe he loves hot dogs. He's saying, fuck it. Fuck this guy. I'm not the president anymore.
Yeah, I
Chilling
want
now.
I want 65,000 hot dogs. $65,000.
He's balling.
That's more than 65,000 hot dogs. What a gourmet hot dog is $1 a piece. $2. How many hot dogs? Let's say super gourmet. $5 a piece for each hot dog.
The president needs a hot dog helping hand.
What if it turns out he was like the 10-time hot dog? And he's like one of those
That's
dudes.
probably it.
What if that's it?
He probably, okay, let's say a hot
It
dog costs
seems like he
$5.
actually just really likes hot dogs here, Alex Jones. Like there's a whole
Okay,
article on
let's
his
say
blog for hot dogs.
$65,000 for the hot dog. $5 a piece. $5 per hot dog.
Right, but listen, you gotta get those delivered. Someone's gotta make them. Gotta grind it up, put it in the casing, the whole deal. Maybe he gets like gourmet hot dogs.
Somebody's got to put those
He
kids
might
on
have been putting together some giant party, some I'm out of this job party. Huh? I don't know, but what I'm saying
hot
is,
dog is a code for male prostitutes.
okay, maybe it is. But what I'm saying is, anybody who's skeptical, anybody who's looking at this and going, you guys are so fucking crazy. This is so, you're making such gigantic leaps of faith. No leaps. Just look at with the weird code in those emails. There's definitely some code in
Let me
those
tell you what happened to me,
emails.
Joe. After this one, in fact, my crew actually got, I'm going to be honest, I'm sorry about the truth. we're about 5 days into this, and the news hasn't even picked it up, and all my crew is doing is all day reading thousands of emails. I mean, there's thousands that are just related to food and hot dog and kids and hot tubs and kid deliveries and oh, the spirit cooking and oh, Aleister Crowley and oh, there'll be semen and blood. I told my crew, I said, it's probably true. No one's going to believe it. Stop obsessing on it and stop reading these emails because I want to focus on the election and everything else that's happening. So then sites start accusing me of covering up the Podesta stuff before it's called Pizzagate, and then I get blamed for being behind Pizzagate. I'm not even bitching. I'm explaining what it's like to really be trying to get at the truth, and then people take the fact that it's complex. You'd be better at this than me, Joe, because you know how to put stuff out, clear it, parse it. I just know all this crap.
When you get crazy,
people won't listen to me because I got too much data. Can you imagine what this is like? I mean, it's just, I'm sick of it. I don't know everything that's going on, but I know this. I have good CIA people and FBI and Secret Service, okay, telling me, yes, Alex, it's worse than you know. Keep getting them. It's going to come out. And it's starting to come out and saying, watch, when we start arresting the pedophile networks, we're going to roll up the Democrats and the Republicans that are involved. That's why Trump said in his speeches at the inaugural, this is not about parties. We're taking these people on. We're bringing God back in. Even somebody that wasn't very religious like Trump has gotten religion learning about this. Because let me tell you something, Trump's not a devil worshiper, and he loves God, and he's been briefed on all this, and he's going to roll their ass up. So the pedophiles better get ready.
I want you to clear something up right now. Look at that camera and tell everybody you're not Bill Hicks.
That's so stupid. Tell them you're not.
I'm not either. Tell them.
Well, number
These
one,
fucking people think there's a goddamn conspiracy.
well,
and
here's
Bill
what
Hicks
happens.
pretended to die.
Here's what happens. They think it's a flat earth, too. I take real stuff. Notice Joe's done his research, not kissing his ass, so he knows all these little points I'm making better than I even did. Yeah, I'm like remembering stuff when he brings it up, because I try to suppress half this crap. I can't handle it anymore, man. I'm 43. And I'm sitting here looking at all this, and these people come up to me on the street, and they go, hey, Joe, it's happened like 5 times. And then I try to go, oh, I knew you were, I mean, not Joe, Alex, whatever
Whatever your fucking name is, Alex Jones.
But the programming
So they
going
yell
out.
at.
No, the comedians,
They say
Bill.
Bill.
They say Bill. Yeah, no, seriously.
Oh, they say Bill.
I'll be on the street. I'll be in a restaurant. They come over, they go. They say, hey, Bill. They always go, oh, that's the conspiracy. And I turn around and go, oh, I know it's you. All because I did a few pieces in one little video with a guy that lived in Austin, and you knew, so I met you. With
But you don't look like Bill Hicks. That's what's ridiculous about it. Like, what did you get? Like massive plastic surgery, change the way your voice sounds. Like your voice is so different than his.
That's what I'm saying is that no one ever wants to look real conspiracies because they're complex and hard to understand. They want to just go with the Earth is flat. There's aliens living underneath the Capitol.
Dinosaurs aren't real.
No, I mean, look, listen. The point is, I'm not going to bash Eddie. Eddie's going to have a free, open mind. I think that he doesn't promulgate stuff. He's only researching what's been said. So I want to just get this out of the way. I am Bill Hicks. You are. How old will Bill Hicks be? Like 60?
I think he died at 32 in 1994. So, do the math.
I know one thing. It's hot in here.
Is it really? Oh, I'm not hot. Eddie, you hot?
I always keep my studio really cold.
Oh, do you? Well, you get crazy. You're a goddamn
I'm melting.
human inferno.
I'm melting.
There's a lot of people that don't know, like how you got started. But one of the things I thought was really bizarre in that thing was that lady was calling you a right-wing host, a far right-wing host. You've never been a right-wing guy, and it's a big misconception. Like you were always totally anti-Bush. You got arrested speaking
Twice, actually.
before Bush was even elected. Yeah. You were trying to stop him from being elected back when Clinton was in office.
And then when he stole the election from Gore, who I didn't even really like, I still came out and exposed it. And it's now been certified in Congress, and they've documented it. I just go with what the facts are.
But you've never, and
like
one
how
of the
you
things
got
that really
started.
opened
One of the things I thought was really bizarre in that
video
thing is that lady was calling you a right-wing host, a far right-wing host.
World Trade Organization.
You've never been a right-wing guy. And it's a big misconception. Like you were always
people in
totally anti-Bush. You got arrested speaking before Bush was even elected. You were trying to stop him from being elected back when Clinton was in office. And then when he stole the election from Gore, who I didn't even really like, I still came out and exposed it.
Then he certified. They smash everything up. They started turn into a violent protest. They light things on fire, and then they all hold up in the building, and they negotiate their release, and none of them were ever arrested. And when you showed this clip by clip from these various news organizations, and you focused on the kind of clothing they're wearing and the difference in their behavior versus the behavior of all the peaceful protests, and then showed the result of it, which had these people that were walking to work with a WTO sticker that had a line through it. and police stopped them and said you can't have that sticker on that book bag. You
It
can't
was
have
an
a pin.
admitted beta test for martial law. Again, I'm not anti-cops themselves. The media always spins it. You expose pedophilia, they claim innocent. You expose the government trying to make cops do bad things. Now you hate
It
every
might
cop.
not have even been cops. I mean, who knows who
Well,
was
they
doing
admitted
that?
it
Who
was.
they
It was
hired.
Delta Force.
That makes sense.
Delta Force, and I'm not blasting Delta Force. They were given the order by Clinton to go out and to recruit, and they recruited just about 400 leftist foundation-funded groups funded by big private foundations. They trained them for about a month before in Oregon. They flew them there, put them in a government housing facility. This was on the newsletter. I just covered local news
But
stories.
they did retreat to a building and negotiated their surrender, and they were released.
Yes,
right?
yes. But
And this is after all this property damage,
they
all
were
this
the ones,
craziness.
though, they went out to start the attack, so they had it on video, so they could then attack the 100,000 peaceful protesters.
So this was something that, I mean, we don't like. We like to think, just like you don't like to think that pedophiles are real. You don't like to think that anyone in the government would ever organize some kind of an attack or some sort of a fake event where a bunch of people that you hire to start smashing things to make a peaceful protest look bad. We don't want to think that that's possible, but it is possible.
It goes on, but
And it turns out that this is actually a documented tactic.
Yes, it was the WTO. In fact, Esquire about 2 years ago was in a profile on me, and the guy, his dad had been a former CIA section chief and had been involved in a bunch of stuff himself. And I told him, I said, yeah, Delta Force ran those riots. And he goes, you're a liar. And I said, no, I'm not. He went and Googled it and couldn't believe he got the Seattle Post Intelligence and stuff. And then even went and talked to journalists that knew because he'd been there covering it as a journalist and he didn't even know. So he says in the Esquire article, okay, Alex Jones got me there because even though I'd grown up in the CIA and stuff, I didn't know that was happening. But let's be clear. It's criminal elements using departmentalization that do this. They always claim I hate the government. I want to have a war and all this other stuff. No. I have to give credit to the good elements of the CIA and the good elements of the NSA. I mean, I'm good friends.
That's a very important point. It's
Yes.
a very important point. I've had this point with a friend of mine who we were talking about. I've had Mike Baker on the podcast before, and through the few conversations that I've had with Mike Baker, who's formerly the CIA, you start getting an understanding of how it works. Like these drug dealings that always wind up like jets crashing, all the coke on board. They're cowboys. You got like a few dudes,
Guys running side shows.
a few dudes who realize they can make a fuckload of money if they sell, and there might be a lot of people involved, but it's not the whole CIA. It's not like they have government memos on it.
Well,
It's not
what
like
they'll
they keep
do
it-
is they'll have a covert option they're running. The president says do this. Like I talked about Silver Ball next to the planes. He says I want communists knocked out. Congress doesn't give the funding. They go, well, you and the government, as you go. The president said do this. We're men of action. We're going to do it. So then there's cocaine already being sold. The contractors are using it to get all their funding. Well, screw that. We'll just jack it, bring it in using private contractors.
But that wasn't the first time they did it. That wasn't the first time they did it.
Vietnam.
But yeah, it was a common tactic. They knew that there was money that was being made from selling illegal drugs. Why would they let that money be made all around?
They're not going to. Well, that's the argument is you don't want to let the communists do all the cocaine and heroin. They like work this, they have more money than you.
Well, what the fuck is going on in Afghanistan? It's just as crazy.
And you
Tell people how much heroin production went up since our
Sure,
occupation.
anybody can pull this up because what's frustrating is a lot of the fake liberals, that's not something real liberal. A lot of the fake liberals just go, oh, that's a lie. This is a lie. No, you can search engine opium production in Afghanistan pre-2001 and then look at the latest years that's come out like 2014, 15. It went from 3% of world supply to 7% to 30%. And after 10 years of occupation, it went to 93% of world supply. So look at the heck.
There was a pretty substantial increase between 2001, which is at an all-time low on this chart from 94 to 2016. So 2001 is an all-time low, and then the next year it fucking skyrockets.
Yeah, but Google, you see it from like BBC and AP, just type in Afghanistan 90+% world opium production.
It's very, very.
It's not 93%. Listen,
And is it used also for like opiate pills, or is it just for so it's not like Oxycontin and things like
it goes beyond that. They ordered troops to the Taliban force when it was allowed to grow it, and then they're allowed to sell it to whoever wants to buy it.
Well, not just that. There's been documented, confirmed instances of troops that are being forced to guard poppy fields.
Sure, we'll go break it down, right?
And this started coming out on Fox News with Geraldo Rivera.
Sure, absolutely. Sure. I mean, you're out.
right, there goes 90% of the world's supply of opium, according to the United Nations.
And in 93, last year, the Israeli was only 50% That's true. That's it. It's not that clear.
Jesus Christ.
So it's getting long. I said 93 is
That's what it is, yeah.
So that's what's so frustrating is you know all this,
And then people still call you crazy.
Alex, why explain what fake news side? Why would you have to the InfoWars is total fake news? Why is it?
that is a major deep state government program for the Soros family, and they found the most effective way is anti-Israel bashing. And so this came up WikiLeaks last year. The U.S. intelligence looked up the Russians that he's in there saying we're going to overthrow Israel. We're going to Saudi Arabia and the Annie with anti-Israel rhetoric. I'm somebody who's neutral in Israel, never been there, have nothing to do with it. Israel has liberals, conservatives, some good administration, some bad, but I'm not anti-Israel. It's a terrible place. I know it does some things that are bad compared to what we've done. It's nothing. So I just don't have some giant hard on for Israel. You don't like to hurt them. And I'm not against the Palestinians or anybody else. Everybody knows that. So when they kill the Israelis for no reason, I say it's wrong. When they white phosphorus bomb Palestinians, I say it's wrong. So I'm sitting there covering all that, and then they just put out that I'm this Israeli agent, all day long, or I'm the CIA agent.
Let's not get into these crazy rants about crazy accusations.
Explain the fake news. Why do they think InfoWars is fake news? I don't know. A lot of people are smart people, really intelligent. They think the real news is CNN.
Okay, well, let me explain. You've got an attached from below and above. You've got major funding by Soros and others, like Nazi collaborators, like True Dr. Evil, and the latest James Bond is basically long story short about George Soros, he's funding this attack on me and many independent media. How do you attack independent media with the most white deep state and government stuff? You say Alex Jones the government. And they always ignore the real facts I talk about. When I get somebody family who said this work for the government, and they said the government was corrupt by control. That was even a little thing, but when they found out,
Andy, let me just explain. It's pretty easy. They're in direct competition. If it's the Fox News, if it's CNN, if it's anybody that's distributing news, you're in direct competition with someone who has an independent news organization that operates themselves and being online.
Joe's just getting perfectly, that's it.
Alex is in a very unusual position because if he's a magnet, people are drawn to him like a lightning rod. He says a lot of crazy shit. He goes on rants. He's very animated. He's fun to watch. A lot of the shit he says is correct. We're getting into this right now. Like this thing about the WTO. Like I said, it's one of the first ones that really opened my eyes a long time ago. It was like, we put that video out in 2002 or something. Like, when was that? 2003? Like 2001. Yeah, it was about right after 9/11. It was right after September 11th. And I remember on the web, I was exactly what I don't like. Maybe years before that, but you just said, I'm sorry about it. Actually think and codify this in, because my problem is, I'll script what I say, and it's kind of all over the map, which is a good thing, also a bad thing. You just hit on the head. You have your question, why are they calling fake news? We just saw Megyn Kelly 2 weeks before the election say in a whole hour-long show special against fake news. We put a few minutes of it. Alex Jones is fake news. He just said Hillary is chopping up children inside the basement of a pizza place. Now, granted, I was saying it in satire about her in the Middle East, so it begged for them to take it out of context, but they clearly did that to deceive their viewers. She's branding herself. I'm real. You can trust me. Look at this poor victim. Alex Jones almost got him killed when none of it was true, when none of it was based in reality. And what I was getting was from the NYPD, okay, and the FBI, who are good people, at least those agents. So there's an example of them branding. Take CNN. They'll take something real I've said, or they've taken videos where I'm acting stupid, with like 5X or 6X underwear that they're giving the illegals or whatever, and they'll show me with underwear on my head and say, look, this guy's crazy. And I get it. I cover serious topics so they can take it out of context. But when I'm being serious, which is 90% of the time, I tell people. But when Joe comes in, and we've got Joey Diaz. So Joey Diaz talking about, kidnapping people, I start, laughing or whatever.
Yeah, we have fun. Look, you're a normal person, and that's what people find hard to believe. When I tell people I'm friends with Alex Jones, they go, "Get the fuck out of here." He's a great guy. He's a great guy. We have a good time together.
Well, you're very nice. So you're a great guy. I wish we aren't all so busy and hang out more like the old days. subject, get out of his way. But every now and then, there's so many subjects in a row. I gotta bring him back. I gotta go. You gotta subject. This is gonna help people see Alex like this. It's gonna help people have a chance to look at this whole picture of just forget about where your loyalties lie, whether you enjoy CNN or Fox News, whatever it is. Just sit outside for a minute and look at what it really is. What it really is. Why is anyone watching you the news? Are they giving you the news because they love you? Or are they giving you the news because it's a program and they're trying to make money? And do they have access to certain people because they're willing to play certain games? Most likely. When you're looking at something that's on the major television show, whether it's Fox News or NBC or CBS or whatever the fuck it is,
Hello?
you got to go through some serious channels to get there. Because if you're a guy with a suit and a tie, good evening America, and you're doing that guy on any of those major networks, you got to go through some fucking serious hoops and ladders, checks and balances. You got to represent something in order to be the person who reads the news. What is that news for? Is it a fucking show? Or is it really the news? Are they really trying to help you? What are they trying to do? You know, why are they doing the news? Are they doing it because they love you and care for you and they want you to be informed? Or are they doing it because they're clearly biased and they've got an agenda? Well, if you watch Fox News and then CNN, just go back and forth. Whenever there's something going on, like I did it after the election, I was like Fox News, CNN, Fox News, CNN. It's cool. Who the fuck is telling the truth? Someone's got to be lying. One of you fucks is lying. One of you fucks is lying. Because there's one story over here, there's a totally different story over here. So all you need to know, just looking at that, just forget about what you are, whether you're a progressive liberal, whether you're a conservative Republican, just look at that and understand that you're getting all of your information from these sources that have a vested interest in relaying their particular version of the truth. That's not good for anybody.
It represents the
Yeah.
yeah, like Fox is totally
Get me one?
in the middle.
Come on. Yeah, dude. Come on. Get one for Eddie Bravo, too. Let's get crazy. Bring out the hatchets.
I hope that people that listen to your show, the people that have never given.
Let's do it. Bring out the whiskey.
All I want, like, I don't want to be this conspiracy guy making money and doing shows. I walked away from my podcast. I was talking about conspiracy. I really don't want to be that conspiracy guy, but something inside me wants to wake people up. That's all I'm trying to do. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help. I'm not making money off any conspiracy theories or anything. I tell myself every time I walk in here, don't say shit about conspiracy.
This whiskey's going to bring it out of him, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I said,
There's a big fan of you.
oh, cool.
Good. He said he wants to roll with you later.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
I just
shit.
had back surgery, so.
No, you said so he said so you can kick his ass.
No, Eddie just
Hey, I
had
don't know
a
about that.
disc replaced.
Oh, really?
Is he
Fuck
CIA?
Yeah.
It's finally
Hey,
time.
I'll
You know,
watch-
actually, Q, I think might be with the CIA.
Yeah, every now and then, don't you want to be like on that side and just have full access to
They
the
don't have.
CIA?
Don't hold that whiskey hostage. Don't hold that whiskey hostage.
This is the show, Alex Jones.
All right, listen, let me give you guys the big freaking data.
Okay,
Pour
hold on.
pour the whiskey
Okay,
first.
let's-
I'm willing to give it to you. Okay, I'm not bullshitting. I got the thing figured out.
Pour one for Eddie.
I got it figured out, guys. You, I mean,
Oh, shit.
Pour a little more
Let's
for me.
do it.
All right, gentlemen, cheers.
I'm going to keep my
here's
mouth
the Joe
shut.
Rogan experience.
Cheers to you, Alex Jones.
Here's to you, buddy. Good stuff.
People were so on one side or the other when it comes to this. There's so much anticipation.
So much bullying about don't have Alex Jones on.
Well, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of we could call him this racist shit. Someone said that to me.
you're
I'm like,
racist.
Alex Jones is one of the least racist people you'll ever fucking meet in your life. I've never even heard you say a racial thing. Race is so inconsequential to you.
I mean, what people think and what they stand for.
You've never discussed race ever in the almost, what do I know, you 16 fucking 17 years. I've never heard you discuss race at all. So someone calling you a racist, like, what? You're just making things up.
All they do while Trump's waving a rainbow flag is say he's a homophobe.
There was a guy walking next to me in New York. I was there after the election. I was there for the UFC. It was right after the election. And me and my friend Cam Haynes were walking back from the gym. We went over to the gym. We're walking back. We walked right into the fucking protest. And there was this guy that was standing next to me screaming, Donald Trump, KKK, racist, sexist, anti-gay. Donald Trump, KKK, racist, sexist, anti-gay. Just kept screaming it out. As if Donald Trump's in the KKK. As if Donald Trump, are you sure he's racist? Are you sure?
Well, there's any discrimination.
You
He
sure
said
he's
he
anti-gay?
mainly hires gay guys to run his casinos and hotels. and is friends with him, and like gave interviews to The Advocate 20 years ago. It's all just complete and made up horse crap. He's waving a rainbow flag. At the RNC speech, he says Republicans have to stop being mean to gay people and have to be inclusive. He's about to enforce civil rights laws for gays and others, and they're calling him a literal homophobe. Now listen, all I'm saying is it's the upside down BS, man.
Yeah, but this is my problem with it. My problem with it is that people want to use a real, you're a bigot, you're a this, you're a that. They want to come up with like a nice quick label
And officially makes them in charge.
You in.
It makes you mad.
It boxes you
It's
in, it
demonization.
defines you, and then you have to defend yourself. Look, you said it best at the beginning of this. Donald Trump's not perfect. He's a man, and he's also a super ambitious, super wealthy man that's constantly on the go. And those kind of dudes are type A, hyper aggressive personalities. And he's definitely said some shitty shit in himself, right? I mean, don't you agree? Like,
Sure, we all do.
yeah, and the big one is one that he said in confidence with that Billy Bush guy, the grab him by the pussy thing. That's the big
And
one.
who has it in confidence, especially if you're famous, said, man, it's crazy. Women throw themselves on you. You can do anything you want.
Yeah,
That's
so
not
do I.
sexual assault. A woman's climbing up on top of you. You can do whatever you want. That's what mammals do. She's showing she wants it. She gets it. And
Imagine
they
if
turn
a
it into a
woman said
sexual
that.
assault. It's pure horse crap.
Imagine if a woman said, "Yeah, I could just see it in their eyes. I could just go up and grab them in the balls."
We would
Yeah,
laugh.
We would laugh our fucking
If
asses off.
Rihanna just talked about how she can fuck any guy she wants, just walks up to him, grabs him by the dick, we would be like,
Yeah,
bitch is
exactly.
crazy. Totally. We would think it's amazing.
And the son of my group is he wasn't talking about that he hides behind bushes and
Right.
waits for joggers
But-
and reaches out and
Well,
grabs
it's also out
them.
of context. He said,
It's out of context. He's having a guy conversation, but like he described it as locker room
and
talk.
there's an
This is not-
asshole
but this is not
outside
defending
with the recorder going,
Right.
oh, I got this.
and this is not defending it. I mean, it's definitely not something he should have said, probably, right?
Sure,
We
exactly.
could all agree to that. But what is he really doing? He's really what we call talking shit. Like Eddie and
Locker
I
room
have
talk.
talked shit so much to each other, laughing, saying things we totally don't believe, we totally don't mean, but we're trying to make each other
You're being
laugh.
silly.
Eddie and I are silly all the time. You had a transcript of all the conversations that you and I have had over the fucking 17 years we've been friends. Oh shit, we'd be in trouble.
Can't put it on air.
We'd be in fucking real trouble.
You guys are
If you just
really
took it out
funny.
of context.
Everyone on Facebook mentions it to that live video. You guys are being so funny watching the stupid TV show.
Oh my god, that show was awesome.
And then as soon as I turned the camera on, you wouldn't say all that stuff. And it wasn't, none of it was bad, but it was like off the cuff. You
Right.
weren't, you weren't censoring.
Well, I forgot what I said too. There's a lot of marijuana involved in this conversation.
Yeah, go off.
It's been
Alex.
forever.
Go off.
I know.
Jeez, don't put these on.
You don't like them? You don't have to worry.
No,
You're
I just-
so loud. You don't have to worry about it.
Ah! Alex Jones is here. No, seriously, I just want to do a good job and actually reach out to your
So
110 million.
who knows how many?
No, you got
There's a lot of people.
$99 a month, 20 million on YouTube, all the derivatives and everything else you're doing. And I hear you sometimes on XM. Still doing that?
No, I'm not on the XM
Well,
anymore.
whatever. The point is that you're one of the biggest shows in the world. Let me give you a little newsflash, not for your ego. Okay, you need to know this
I don't need
as
to
a,
know this.
as a signal to the mainstream media of how pathetic they are. CNN's top show has maybe 1 million viewers. Their average show about 100,000. Fox's top show maybe 4 million, and I don't know bigger or not. Okay, great. This is it. I'm not competition with them. The point is they're a freaking joke. I conservatively every day on terrestrial radio have 4 million listeners on my 200 plus stations. That's rated, proven. I mean, that's big right there. And then millions and millions of downloads every day, tens of millions of people watching the videos. You add it all together, 40-something million a week. We go back to this. What's happening? It isn't about Joe Rogan or Alex Jones or Eddie Bravo or any of that. It's about the people are hungry for being able to have a wider selection of things.
But you and I are in totally different categories because all I'm trying to do is give them interesting content. You're actually trying to run a news show and expose
No, but
things.
you've got really smart commentary. I watch clips all the time.
I have people on all the time.
You
It's
try,
just
to open,
talking.
you try to open minds all the time.
Yeah,
But
try to
these
open-
minds a different one.
I'm
That's
not
all I
honestly.
say.
From the-
What I'm honestly not trying to open minds. I'm being curious and I'm asking questions and I'm trying to learn as much myself. And then once I do learn about things, I would like to have that person come on to teach other people
Sure.
about it because I think it's interesting.
Well, here's the big enchilada for folks. If you want, I can lay this out.
Enchilada.
And I'd like to make a documentary down the road and actually break this down. But there is a whole breakaway civilization. And listen, I've done the UFOs. Get ready. I don't ever talk about this.
For real? Breakaway civilization?
Are you ready? Joe, how many things did I tell you over the years?
Too many that
That
came
came true.
true.
There was a couple that you got wrong. You
Which
can't get them
one?
all right. Like
Which
the
one?
Y2K people,
They
knock
take
you
that
all
out
the
of
time.
context. My
Explain
listeners,
that. Explain the why.
We
But
want
it's okay. A conspiracy theory is just not trusting criminals. Every now and then you can't pin that murder to the criminal, but he's still a criminal, even
even though you're wrong. Well, one of the things I'm actually embarrassed about is the Y2K.
Well, hey, well, listen, you're not a computer expert. Neither am I. I didn't go anywhere that night. I stayed fucking home, and I was waiting for that goddamn power to go out.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
didn't
know
know
the big
either.
news in a minute, but since it's
2012, I didn't know. I thought, damn, the Mayans knew.
Dude, we thought it was over.
See, I didn't think that.
Eddie Godwin, I was convinced.
Well,
You
once,
got 2012 license
Yeah,
plate,
I
man.
had a December 2012 license plate. I did.
oh, is this tobacco?
Yes, very strong tobacco from Mexico.
I guess I am in California. This is
Yes,
for medical reasons.
100% medical reasons and legal. Yeah, man, there's a lot of things that people think are going to happen that turn out to not happen. There's always a goddamn asteroid that's going to kill us all that doesn't actually hit. So what is going on? Aliens are coming?
Well, let me answer.
Nibiru?
Before I do this, let me answer his question. You had a regular question too. Let me answer Y2K because I want to be honest about this. Okay, this is one of the few things that I have really gotten wrong, and I didn't go with my gut, and so I was proven wrong, and I did it for the wrong reason. So now I'm going to actually confess, Your Honor. I was on one radio station. I've been on Access TV for a few years. I was on one radio station. I already started the show out of my house. That was on like 15 radio stations, so I had that at least. But I was on one big radio station, had the top show at night, on a station with Howard Stern. It was killer. It was all over the newspaper, had huge ratings, and I was bringing in like 20, 30 grand a month, which was just a huge amount for me, building a whole operation out of that at home. And they come to the sales guys and they go, look, for a year, you've not been behind Y2K, and you're not letting us have all these big sponsors, and you're going to basically be fired if you don't let us endorse these sponsors and have them on air and say you believe in Y2K.
Hold on a second. So these sponsors were like doomsday stuff, like canned food and shit, and
Bunkers, everything else.
oh,
So I don't believe it.
So they gotta push Y2K. You gotta push that Y2K. Y2K means
But the station wants to make all this money. Okay?
So the station made you push Y2K. Wow.
But let me go further. This is one of the few times in my life that I don't want to say I didn't have integrity. I kind of let them convince me. But I think back to the point in the conference room, I just kind of went, okay, sure, I can. And then I went, and then once I decided it was true, I really pushed it. So it's almost like I lied to myself, because I'm being honest about this process.
Right.
So this is what happened. Like a year and a half, I'm saying it's BS, it's a government hoax, because they're like, the Navy says the chips are all bad, and 54 cities will completely fall, and it's all the death. I said, they just want to upgrade with all this new spy hubs. They want new global standardization for the U.S. It's the Telecommunications Act of 96. They want to force all the new chips. I had NSA sources then that I was having on, okay? And I didn't realize how special it was that I had these sources. They're telling me it's all BS. And people are like, don't argue with the Navy. And Fox News had ads to get your food. It was just everywhere. So I went, okay, stuff's going to be real.
So it was like a Black Friday for
It was like
doomsday.
a Black Friday. So the last few months, and the moral was they didn't fire me anyway. They did, but the moral was I kind of convinced myself it was real. So by the end of it, of course, they edited like 12 hours beyond that day, like 5 minutes, something totally insane.
Right.
But it's like nuclear reactor having a problem here. It really was happening. And like, and there was a missile fired from Russia, which like was an ICBM, and they got like shot down. That was ABC News. So I'm like, all right, this isn't really happening. Okay, we got prepared. It's all good prepared. Okay, let a reactor having a problem. Okay, some stuff. So there was some outages and some problems. But government and MSM had hyped it. Then they used it to demonize alternative media even then when it wasn't catastrophic. So my gut told me it was BS. It was BS. And so thank God I missed the whole 2012 thing. But still they said, Alex Jones says the world's ending the Bureau 2012, where you really search what I say, it's all a load of crap. But I didn't criticize you when I saw you doing it. I said,
I was balls deep in
I
the Bureau.
hope he's
oh yeah.
But here's the thing.
My
It wasn't
phone
just
is
the radio
calling you.
station. It wasn't the radio station. It was the listeners. They were pissed at me that I wouldn't go into this thing.
Well, it's fun for them. See, when you start talking about the end of the world or doomsday coming, people like that shit because it gives them something to think about.
But
Because
here's
there's
the
a
thing.
lot of
I'm
people
talking
out
about a real
Jones.
future. I
I
believe in
know.
humanity.
I know.
I'm not doomsday.
Listen, it was a long time ago, 17 years ago, right?
Wow.
Y2K,
Yeah.
17 fucking years ago.
But at least
And-
2012 didn't get you, so
Right.
you redeemed yourself.
Yeah, you came
Because
back
it got
strong.
me.
That's
Well,
okay. I
sounds
get
about
it. Look,
2012.
17. Think about 17 years ago. That's a long time ago. I mean, and you getting fired from that job. Every great radio guy's got fired.
Yeah.
Howard Stern got fired. You got fired. Like Bubba the Love Sponge
It was
was
just like
fired.
Howard
Everybody's
Stern.
been fired.
I had top ratings, and they were all pissed and weird about it. The weird thing is they didn't mess with the losers. They were all flipping out because I was getting the big paychecks.
Well, it makes sense. It
Just
all
like
makes
Howard,
sense.
It was the same
Yeah,
thing.
and the Y2K thing totally makes sense. That they would want you to really push that and sell it hard because who the fuck knows? You know, we don't know. You get scared. You're like,
Well,
where
they're
are
like,
they hiding this from?
Alex, the Navy says it's going to happen. Washington Post. Now, your listeners are really, and it was the one time I went, oh, okay, maybe I'll go do it.
I had people on that were telling me there was something that was going to happen in 2012. They were sure of it.
So they bullied
Yeah,
you.
I had people. No, it's not a bully thing.
Well, you hear everybody doing it, you start like stampeding like lemmings.
It's, I'm
There's a
telling
lot
you,
of
there's a
double crossing
psychological.
going on. Just massive double crossing. Because I really used to be in the UFOs, but the more you look into UFOs, it looks like, and that's another conspiracy
Well, actually,
theory.
I'm not
It looks like the government
Listen, I
used
had a guy that
UFOs
was
as
going
a
to give me the
distraction.
whole NASA deal, and when he came to the meeting, he couldn't do it. I knew this guy well. And then the next time he was going to meet with me, his heart blew up.
It blew up
Like
like a bomb in his
no,
heart.
like they said, his heart like completely ruptured.
Wow.
And he was in mission control, and he was the main down mission control.
So you believe? Well, you know that the Russian government.
You know how many people died in the secret space program?
Alex, you know that the Russian government. You know the Russian government put those laser reflectors on the moon as well with unmanned probes.
Yes.
You know that, right?
And there's dead Chinese. The Chinese are
Yeah.
the bunch.
That's not like the best. There's weird evidence.
Nobody went. The damn thing's not that far away.
Are you kidding?
Are you kidding? So Alex, you think they definitely went to the moon? They just put footage is fake? Is that what you think?
Yeah, you can't bring film back to the Van Allen radiation belt. It's spots.
Right, but we don't have film. What would lead us to believe that they definitely did?
They say an RCA camera.
This is amazing footage, right? There's amazing footage.
Because they put a fake launch in space in case the real mission died.
So who's in the fake
They're
one?
not going to show you the real
Who's in the
president.
real? What happened to
The U.S. military is 50 years in advance.
Okay, well, let him answer this, Eddie. So we gotta figure this out. So what you're saying is the one that we saw on TV with Neil Armstrong, one small step for man, that's all horseshit. But the real one actually took place. They just couldn't get the film back.
But Armstrong had been on real mission.
So yes, he definitely been on real missions. But
I don't know. He wouldn't tell me all of it. He died before we met.
the other dude,
I was meeting him the next day, and his wife called. My dad was friends with him. He
Neil
said,
Armstrong's
"Armstrong's dead."
the other guy. What's his name?
Okay, Buzz Aldrin. I didn't know Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
Buzz Aldrin said, "I want to come on your show." And I'm not into Aldrin. You know, he lives here in LA. One time I ran into him, was leaving that, and he said, "I want to come on your show." And I said, "All right, come on." And it's the only interview he said it. He goes, I'm going to tell you, Alex, your audience alone. He said there is an obelisk, just like 2001. It's on the moon of Mars, the sole moon, and it's sending a transmission, and it's all real, and it's all Egypt, and there's aliens and everything else. That's the only time he ever said it. What? Is there a clip of that? Yeah, pull that. Pull that. There's a clip of that. Dude, it was on like ABC Nightly News the next day. So I see that. You think he was fucking with you? You think he's fucking with you? No, he's real. Yeah, like I think he's full of shit. Why do you think he's full of shit? What is this trick?
Can you imagine there is an obelisk on Mars?
I think
That it really is communicating with
There's
us?
an obelisk on the moon of Mars.
The moon of Mars. Phobos? Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
he said we got to land there.
Have you seen his Instagram?
No. No, is it good? A lot of bitches.
Boats.
Boats and bitches and
He's
boats.
just like, he's just like,
Don't you love
he's just
that?
like, he's just
Okay, hold on a second. Let's give
Buzz Aldrin's
some
loving Instagram.
let's give some
With their habitation, we can keep track. If there's something very important to be developed from the moon, I'm not sure what it is right now. Of course, you don't. Sure thing.
Bullshit.
Identify
What
what
is
it
it?
is.
Eddie, you want the truth? I'll give
No,
you the truth.
I want to hear what he
You
says.
wanna hear about Buzz
Alex,
Aldrin?
I want to hear, but I want to hear what he says first. Let's hear what he says. Yes.
Go
Hold
ahead.
it. Hold it. Go ahead, Jim.
America to make such gross expenditures again for human habitation on the moon. We can help. We can join with. Together, we can explore the moon and develop and steal tax money. We can do
Oh, shit.
together.
Fuck balls.
Is this where he talks about the obelisk?
No, it's on my show. This is C-SPAN.
Yeah. We need to go to.
There's a monolith. They're a very unusual structure on
Saturday,
this
Sunday.
little potato-shaped object. We need $4 billion to go get it. Once in 7 hours. When people find out about that, they're going to say, "Who put that there? Who put that there?" Well, the universe put it there. If you choose, God put it there. That's
Whoa.
okay, baby. Come on. That guy wants $4 billion.
I didn't even know he'd go on another show. That's before me. That's
Oh
after me.
my God.
So that's the monolith, that thing that you're looking at? That's weird.
I don't believe
Fuck.
this shit for a second.
Okay, let me tell you about Buzz Aldrin. I was here in Los Angeles, and I can't tell you anything else.
Okay.
Look at this monolith on Phobos.
Oh,
How
that's-
weird.
Yeah.
It's like a weird structure.
Who knows that's a real picture? That's all bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. Come on.
Oh, that, look
Well,
at that. That proves it.
Jet
listen,
airplanes are all bullshit.
I don't know shit about Photoshop, but I can make that.
Okay, I'm sure you can. Can I tell you the big secret about my secret meeting with?
Yes,
With both.
please.
Okay, let me go.
Okay, please.
Let me hear the shit he said.
Well, no, Eddie, don't stop. Let's go ahead and let him communicate.
He told me that Papa Smurf is real.
No,
Let me tell you what he told me. He told me,
Shit.
he said, India is sending a probe to the moon, and they'll announce that when they crash the probe, they found the undersea frozen ice that covers the moon. The moon has dust on it. It's a big water bubble. It's going to be the water we need to get off the planet and make that big jump. So the whole point is everything's laid out the planet just perfect for humanity. We make the steps right. It's like a video game.
Buzz Aldrin, high as fuck.
Alex,
Listen,
he's
Buzz
fucking with
Buzz Aldrin. No, you're not listening.
He's fucking with
Did
you.
India crash the probe? Found exactly what they were saying.
Ugh.
And I walked through an airport a year
Yeah,
later
shit.
and look over, and it says India discovers water on the moon, and it's all water.
Well, they've definitely discovered water on the moon, right? That's
That's
pretty
what
much
they say.
confirmed.
But
Yeah.
Buzz
That's
Aldrin
what
told
they
me
say.
about it a year before.
Is that right? Am I correct in saying
Yes,
they found water on the moon?
Are they still Buzz?
Did you hear what I said?
Buzz Aldrin? Is he going to the meetings and they tell him shit?
Listen,
Yeah, he went to the moon.
You
dude.
wanna
He
get
could
into
go to
that
every
stuff?
meeting.
I don't get into all this stuff, okay? I'm telling you, Buzz Aldrin told me in a year it's going to be on the news that they discovered water with a probe they're sending before they were even sending a probe to the news. They let India, quote, find it. Because the U.S. already found it. It's already been on the moon. God knows how many times. The word is they got military bases on the other side.
Alex.
Dude,
Do
we
you
had
think-
nuclear
hold on.
subs in the 50s. What do you think we got now?
So you think they have wait a minute, they have bases on the moon?
Well, I'll never get into all this stuff.
Don't do that.
But let's just say it's super advanced.
So
Come
you
on.
really think that they have some sort of a base out there
Just like I
that
told
we
you, the
don't know
NSA
about?
spying on you with keywords.
That's so far away. Why wouldn't they just do it in a desert somewhere? What is this? MIP detected water on the moon way back in June. Huh.
They're dropping disinfo on you, Alex. They are.
Well, I mean, Buzz Aldrin tells me they're going to announce India finds water
Oh
on the
my
moon.
God, Buzz Aldrin. Follow him on Instagram and then come back to me with
Look at
some
that.
Buzz Aldrin.
The moon
Follow him on
impact
Instagram.
probe,
I'm
which
only
crash
telling you what
landed.
Buzz Aldrin told me.
Look at this. The moon impact probe, which crash landed at a designated site on the lunar south pole on November 14, 2008, had picked up some clear signatures of water
It
during
needs
its
to get
25
deep.
minutes
That's why I
descent.
crashed.
Yeah, Mr. Nair said at a press conference here on Friday. Interesting.
And you know what? When it comes to space, Alex, that's not your forte. But one thing I wanted to ask. Here's Buzz Aldrin is
I
telling
want
you
to
shit.
attack you on this
Oh my
backside.
God. Follow Buzz Aldrin on Instagram and then come back at me.
Listen, can I
What
just
is
say
it?
one
hold
thing?
on,
Hey,
I do
brother,
wanna
what's
ask
going
one
on with his Instagram? What's up with Buzz
It's
Aldrin?
amazing. It's amazing.
How
He's
so?
just like he's so into it.
Did
He's so
you
into
see
it.
when the guy comes over? He goes, "You're full of crap." You know what the movie just punches him down.
Yeah.
Hey, check this out. I wanted to ask you, what do you think? Is Trump going to do anything about the stratospheric aerosol injections?
Write that down. Because
I don't
Wait,
know.
are you guys talking? Are we talking about chemtrails now?
Write
No,
it down.
we're talking about stratospheric aerosol
Now,
injections.
this thing, I can't get to any of the points that you won't let me,
What do you think Trump wants to stop that?
I'm going to tell. Write it down.
Write
Right,
it down.
what down?
The next question. I'll do it here.
That's the
That's
question.
the question. You just
The
said.
question
I
is,
want to
do
get
you
you
like-
last five before that.
Alex Jones is off the rails right
All right,
now, folks.
I'll
Okay,
bring
you
it
bring it in.
Why do you
Alex.
want me? I didn't get the joke. Why do I have to write it down? I didn't get it.
Because you've been bad.
Listen, Alex, is Trump gonna do anything about that? That program to stop
Yeah, I'll
global
do
warming?
something about it.
Well, what do you think the program is, Eddie? What do you think the program
No,
is?
the director of the CIA is talking about on YouTube. Look under John
I've seen
O'Brien.
it. I've seen
John
it.
O'Brien.
They talk
He
about
talks about
strategies. They talk about
Stratospheric
strategies.
aerosol injections. It's going to cost $10 billion a year, and there's going to be some countries opposed to it because it's going to mess up the
Are you
weather.
telling me about atmospheric manipulation?
I'm talking about stratospheric
Geoengineering.
aerosol SAI.
I've never heard of that.
It's super important when you can break it down to 3 letters.
Yeah, let
No,
me
that's
go over.
what John O'Brien admitted in June of 2016 at the
I
CFR.
saw the
Listen,
video.
I
I
know,
saw the
let
video.
Let me comment on it.
Can you play it, Jamie? Look,
But
you
let
can
me
just go
comment.
John O'Brien.
I've been talking
let
about
Alex
this forever, and
comment
Joe,
on it.
I'm not bashing you, but you had your TV
Please
show
don't.
made jokes about it, which I get, because a lot of it's BS. There is an entire atmospheric terraforming, geoengineering manipulation. They don't call it chemtrails. And of course, the CIA director admitted they have this huge program. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation owns the major patents on it from Westinghouse and others. They use these big antennas to manipulate the weather. They can, like China is like causing huge
You're talking
rains
like
and stuff.
HARP,
Yes,
that
HARP
kind of
technology. It's all
Do
declassified.
you think HARP manipulates the weather?
They admit it does. I used to have the head of HARP, General Benton K. Parton, on all the time. But exactly, there's giant weather modification systems, and there's weather wars between different governments, and it's all
Let's
declassified.
explain to people that are listening what HARP is. What does it stand for? High altitude something.
Yeah, they've got a system that supposedly, well, you know what HARP really was under its classification?
What does it stand for? High frequency active auroral research program.
Yes.
So the idea behind this was they wanted to do research on the aurora, and didn't they want to see if they could communicate using it and send
Yeah, no.
radio waves
They
that
wanted
bounce
over
off
the
the
horizon
ionosphere?
radar.
Right. Yeah, that, and they also wanted to be able to send radio signals to places where they wouldn't
But
make
HARP
train.
doesn't really
But
go.
what does that have to do with stratospheric aerosol
HARP
injections?
doesn't really go into the atmosphere.
Well, the
What does that have
speculation,
to-
the
what's that?
I know all
speculation,
HARP
Eddie.
secrets. I've interviewed the private head of it. I actually know the HARP secrets.
How
I don't know why the Pentagon decided to let him on my
does
show.
HARP work
He
with
came up-
how does HARP work with the chemtrails? What do they
Let me tell you.
what goes on?
Okay. Only a micronic amount, a small amount of what HARP does is in the atmosphere. It's bouncing off the aurora borealis and then resonating back through in a deep Earth communication program to satellites and other things through the planet. So it's something you can communicate to satellites through the satellites down to the submarines.
So here it goes. This is an actual
So-
definition, how HARP works. The facility's transmitters send
According
radio
to who,
waves
though?
upward.
According
Well,
to
hold
who?
on, let's just read it first. Waves upwards into the ionosphere between 100 and 350 kilometers of altitude. The resulting heating effect creates irregularities in the electron density there, which in turn allows communication signals as from satellites to be relayed off the ionosphere.
That's not what it really does. Then they can shoot the satellite frequency coded through the Earth to submarines.
Now, what is this website from that
Then the
explains
submarine
this, Jamie?
hooks up a buoy. You want the real stuff? I'll tell you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Nature
Buzz Aldrin
magazine.
tell you?
let me explain something.
Okay, nature.com.
I have the head of the HARP program on.
I'm just fucking.
I got contacted about 10 years ago. They said the head of the HARP project really likes your work. He'd like to come on, the interview's online. He'd like to come on and tell everybody. And about 30 minutes in, a colonel came on the line and said sorry during a break and cut the guy off. Well,
I mean, this really happened.
Cue spooky music.
Cue spooky music.
Yeah,
I believe you. That's true.
Well,
I want to know.
I want to know the relationship between, like, what do the chemtrails have to do? Do you think Trump is going to look into the SIA project that the CIA has created?
He is starting out with vaccines, as I believe do, investigating all the damage they caused.
Ultimately, that's good too. Start the vaccines, get that shit together too, for sure. But what about the SAI programs that the CIA has created? You think
Yeah, I think it's next level. You really want to communicate with these microphones, and it's going to be like, I don't have to sweat Trump.
And you're so locked onto this.
I'm just like,
Here's the problem with all this SIA shit. Most of
Fuck.
what you see those jets flying around, those clouds behind them, most of that is just a jet engine. Exactly. The jet
Everybody
engine
confuses that with the real program.
what's the real program?
Well, here's the thing. You're right, and so is Joe, because the world's complex. There are secret and quasi-secret economic programs to test manipulation of weather and weather systems. The Arabs are doing it, the Chinese are doing it, the Russians are doing it.
People have been clouding for
He's
100
not
years.
talking about cloud
The Chinese are doing
That's
it.
too.
500
That
years
is
ago.
weather manipulation.
But they're doing it for different purposes,
Yes.
not to
Okay,
produce
you know what?
crops.
Okay, I have been living the head of the U.S. weather weapon program for 27 years on my show. I saw it was classified. I saw he was in the Panhandle of Texas. I called him running a major cloud seeding company with his son and got the 9-year-old to Austin. And then after that, he totally freaked out because the CIA came to his house. Do you want the interviews on YouTube? Do you want to know what he said?
Yes.
No, he was a World War II pilot. And into typhoons that are even faster in the Pacific. And then he also went squadrons in Vietnam, flooding everything up to 10 feet of water on the clear blue skies for hours. With their chemicals. Yeah, but straight up
Badass you have to be to do that.
I'm super badass.
Fly into a hurricane or a typhoon?
Yeah,
Jesus
he's the
Christ.
first guy to do it.
Holy shit.
Anyways, he's super badass. I don't even know if he's alive. He's been living
Right.
at 90. He was still all there, and I thought at 90 he could kick my ass.
What a
He was big Texan. I felt like the guy was tougher than me. Anyways, so we're sitting there, and he gives me all this data, and I can't believe it. He gives me all these classified photos and stuff because they just declassified the file. No one thought to call the old man from Lubbock or whatever it was.
Right.
So I call him, I get him on. They sent a bunch of people to their company and threatened him the next week after I aired it. And he laid it out. He said, in 1967, we certified at the Shamrock Research Institute that he was able to control hurricanes, create hurricanes, and steer hurricanes. All that got black budgeted, shut down, and then they got into these arrays where they could use antennas. And out of that, in Westinghouse came the whole HARP program. So in the 60s, you could create, control, and steer or kill hurricanes. That's why you Google now, Bill and Melinda Gates bought all those patents. And quote, Bill Gates is going to save the world from bad weather. Bill Gates wants to stop hurricanes. Google it.
So let me
Gates
ask you
owns
this.
the weather machine.
Let me pause for a second. How do they manipulate a hurricane? So the hurricane's going to happen. How do they break it up?
Okay, if it's coming into lands, their problem with aerial arrays projecting into the sky, they can break it up or strengthen it or kill it or steer it. It's all
And they're
computerized.
doing that with HARP?
Well, they've got HARP bases all over the place. They call them Doppler radar facilities. Oh, the government wants your local city to have Doppler radar.
That was like so you could have
Exactly.
the guy in front of the
But
screen.
that's at like 1/10 of 1%. They can crank those arrays up that have massive. Your lights might go out when they do it a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, because they'll use the whole power of your town through the Doppler radars, and then they control it. The U.S. has a giant weather weapon hidden in front of everybody in every town and city. And poor Russians and Chinese are just discovering it all. The U.S. has weather weapons that can knock them all out right
Can
now.
Bill Gates control the weather? Ideas for barges to pump cold water from the depth of the ocean to create some sort of a roadblock for the hurricane. Since hurricanes pull power from the water's warm temperatures, cooling the water could have theoretically
Yeah, but that's a
lessened
whitewash.
the impact
not
of
its full
outright
program.
dismantle the hurricane. Well, it sounds like a good idea, though.
No, the point is, we are loving
mainstream.
use
But
the
doesn't
photo.
that sound like a genius idea? You spray cold water
It
into the
always
air,
does.
it'll cool
Like
off the
chemtrails.
hurricane.
John O'Brien in the front of the CFR is saying we're doing this because for global warming we
Eddie,
got to save the
You
planet.
are
He's
right
so
about social about geoengineering and chemtrails. You were wrong about the dinosaurs not being wrong.
But hey, what about that? They're coming out saying, hey, there's going to be some
Fuck.
countries that aren't going to be for it. We got to figure out how we're going to deal with them
All right,
because
do you want
they're
me
going
to
to have
give the audience
yes.
the big secret? Yes. What's the big secret?
Keep
There's
going with
another
that
big
weather
secret.
manipulation. Keep going with that. Come on, man. Don't change the subject. Keep going with that. You're not done with Livingston.
Okay.
Imagine, it's good you're here, but imagine me and Joe were actually.
Come
You
on.
got me off on. You want me to hear about Ronald Reagan too, don't you?
Later. Finish the SAI
Well,
program.
he doesn't know about this.
I know about it, but it's
Well,
fucking my deal.
what do you know about the SAI program?
Look,
Let's
most,
get this done.
most of the real programs are just like fronts for something else. It's not even real.
So you don't think they're spraying shit into the atmosphere?
No, there is a program for geoengineering.
There's a program in place. And
Yes.
You said it's the Doppler radar system and the HARP and what else?
And aerial spraying is still the most effective. And,
And what do they do?
They do have patents.
When you say
where
aerial spraying, what are they spraying?
barium salts, aluminum dioxide, radioactive isotopes.
They're
Barium and
spraying them in
aluminum?
the air.
Yeah, the
Why are
aluminum
they doing that?
And the aluminum is because it does a bunch of things. They're testing a bunch of stuff. They're manipulating things. Listen, our Pentagon
Right,
is so
but
crazy.
why do you have evidence that they're doing this and spraying aluminum
No,
and barium,
You
whatever
can
it
go
is?
online and read the Department of Energy. It's all public. Just like he just
You
said.
can go online and watch a Chinese dude get jacked by a tiger.
You can go to departmentofenergy.gov,
Right?
and you can watch CFR, CIA director at the time, Brennan, admitting all this. This is all public.
Yeah, he admitted
Okay.
it. He talked about it.
No, I saw it. I saw the video. We can play the video and go over it if you want. But he's talking about various options for controlling global warming.
Yeah.
They're laying out the future. Look, if global warming
There's
is
a guy.
hold on a second.
Name.
Hold on a second. Global warming is real. We know it is, right? Don't you think they
I
would
don't believe
have?
that.
You don't believe global warming is real?
I think
So
it's a
when they
scam.
keep measuring these temperatures and scientists keep
No,
saying
they
this
got
is the
caught
hottest
faking
year on
the
record.
temperatures.
Okay.
They came out and hacked emails.
Well, let's find out what
Joe,
the
I
most
believe
recent
global
thing
warming's
is. 'Cause it
real.
was
I believe it's real.
okay.
I believe that it
I
goes high, it goes cold. There's
Right.
always micro temperatures.
There
and
is always a big
microclimates.
change. There's shifts throughout
Change is
time.
the only thing that
Right.
ever happens.
Fuck
I
me.
think we all
Paying
agree on
carbon
that.
taxes to Al Gore won't fix it.
Okay, I think we
I'm
all
with
agree
that.
that
I'm
there's
with that.
shifts. But what I'm saying is there absolutely is global warming, right?
What does the
I
CIA
know that.
have
So
to do
hold
with
on a
global
second.
warming?
Hold
Let
on
me
a
tell you,
second,
my
because we're
dad's
talking-
farmhouse, when my dad was a kid in the 1950s, for 3-4 months out of the year, it was below zero or freezing. You had to chop wood, you'd freeze your ass off. And all houses had, even in the South, had all sorts of chimneys in them for fireplaces because it was freezing cold.
Right.
And now there has been a warming period, but that's part of a normal global cycle based on the sun. All these astrophysicists are sure. The whole thing about cleaning, it's the carbon we put out. The Earth is carbon starved. There's a carbon cycle. That's the big story I want to get to. The globalists want to tax. If they can tax oxygen, carbon dioxide, water, or sunlight, they have total control over the whole life cycle of the planet.
Let's play the video. This CIA guy talking about it, because what I inferred from it is that they're
The
trying
CIA
to come
director.
up with some sort of solutions if global warming becomes a giant
By the way,
issue.
Brennan is a freaking
Right.
known Wahhabist.
What,
What?
Joe?
Hold
But
on.
Joe,
You're
look at it
burning
like a
Islam.
detective.
Hold on.
What does the CIA have
Let's
to
watch
do
the video
with
first.
global warming?
It's a good question. What do they have to do? I don't know what the
Exactly.
CIA does. Do you
They're
know? The
supposed to stop
Central
spreading
Intelligence
communism.
Agency.
They were built to stop the spread of communism.
Right, but
Right?
it's an intelligence
Yeah.
agency.
What do they have
They're
to do
part
with
of
the
the
environment?
Okay, they're part of the intelligence community. And if they got hired, I would imagine, this is just me guessing right off the top of my head, if they got hired to assess a threat, and the threat being from global warming, like what do we have to worry about? Are we really going to lose cities? Do we really have an issue
No,
where
their
the grid
answer
goes
is
down?
give George Soros and the UN total power for a 100 trillion per decade global tax to micromanage and surveil
Okay.
everything humans do.
Let's
Because
hear
if carbon's toxic, they've got to surveil it. Thus, they have a jurisdiction to
Hold
control
up.
our lives.
Okay, hold up. Why does it say debunked? CIA director admits chemtrails, geoengineering, stratospheric aerosol injections. So it says the claim
Guys, the
is that
Council on
Brennan.
Foreign
Hold
Relations
on,
wrote a
hold
white paper
on,
calling
hold
for it.
on, hold on. At the council admits geoengineering in the form of stratospheric aerosol injections (SAI) is taking place, i.e. chemtrails. And the rebuttal is nowhere in his speech is there an admission that an SAI program is already taking place. The part where Brennan mentions geoengineering is just one example out of several not often mentioned issues that the CIA monitors for potential elements of instability in the world. A SAI program, if ever implemented, could penetrate conflicts and security threats if misused. The CIA's job is to consider all types of concepts for potential
All right, let me
future
give you the facts
problems
here.
and threats, including the science-oriented concepts. That's totally
All right,
possible,
well, let me break down the
right? But
reality
isn't
here.
that possible?
Let me break down the
What,
reality.
what that guy just said, is that possible?
No, that's basically what Brennan said.
But what he's saying is that there are potential threats.
Do you want to hear what I'm saying?
Environmentally, it's an issue, right? So he's not admitting that there's an
No,
SAI
they are.
program.
Let me check.
Okay, go ahead, tell me.
everybody debates how many programs there are, all the specifics. A lot of that's classified. You can Google China launches major weather control operations 10 years ago.
Right.
Or Qatar does it, or Saudi Arabia, or the UK, or
For
EU.
sure, people have studied.
No,
it.
fuck.
Right.
Yo, they call it study. There's
Uh-huh.
a giant. Hell, in 2005, the Department of Energy program for aerosol testing was $5 million a year. So under U.S. Code Title 50, Chapter 32, subsection 1528, paragraph B.
Is that true? You nailed that right
Yes, yes.
there. What are you from Mars?
Under U.S. Code
Do
Title.
you live on that obelisk?
That was fucking
But
insane.
let me just tell you,
I can't even remember the last time the cheetah fought. And this motherfucker.
listen, under U.S. Code Title 50, Chapter 32,
Okay, Rain
subsection
Man.
1528, paragraph B.
That's
Find that
insane.
shit.
That's insane.
No, under
Hold on.
that,
Say it slow. Let Jamie write it up. Jamie.
U.S. Code Title 50, Chapter. That's it. Fast to remember.
U.S. Code Title 50,
Chapter 32, subsection 1528, paragraph B.
subsection 128,
The real fast brain only works at
paragraph
that speed.
B.
Like speed, your speech can't even say it. It's like one thought.
Jesus
U.S. Code,
Christ.
Chapter
How the
32,
fuck do you know that?
subsection 1.
Restrictions on use of human subjects for testing of chemtrails. Go back. There you go. Or biological agents.
All right. Now, what they do in this
Whoa.
is they say it's illegal to test unless it's for research.
But
Then you're
everything's
allowed
for
to even
research.
kill people if it's for research
Do
purposes.
you know that's how some of those Japanese whaler vessels get away with killing whales still? They say it's for research purposes.
Exactly.
And they kill the whales and sell them. Some dark shit.
Yeah, no, the
Scam.
elites
Everything's
are
a scam,
the
dude.
mad
It's a scam.
scientists,
Everything.
engineers. I'm gonna give you the big secret, man. If you want
Yes, I do.
it, I'm not kidding around.
I know, not
The
either.
thing is,
Ever.
they're the high priests. They're scientists.
Right.
They're engineers. They're allowed to kill people, test stuff on kids, inject black people with syphilis, all the declassified
Right.
stuff, because they are scientists. All the real executioners, torturers, or most of them, or people making decisions, are doctors. And so it's all medical doctor stuff in this big breakaway civilization of scientists.
Okay.
And so that's what they built. And under research provisions,
Mhm.
they can even kill anybody they want.
All right, I'm gonna go back because we took Eddie's turn on chemtrails, but we did it to sidetrack from what you were saying about the moon. And I want to go back to what you're saying because you were saying that there was two completely different missions, and one of them was real, and that there was some sort of contact with aliens.
No, I was getting better. I'm saying I had a top.
Is that what you were
I had
implying?
a top. Well, let's just say this.
Okay,
It's
go ahead.
mind blowing. I was told by a top NASA individual, Raymond T, that indeed there was a breakaway program and that he heard and saw transmissions of some back channels. of
Tranny
real
mission.
feeds and ships that he'd never even seen that basically didn't even look like they were anything that he could imagine that was classified. And he knew about some classified programs. For every program you saw, there was at least 10 programs that were secret. That's the about NASA, 90% secret or more. And so he knew about a bunch of classified programs, and he was seeing transmissions and things coming
Tranny,
back and talking to
tranny
people about
missions.
a whole breakaway program they said
Oh.
was a lot safer, a lot
Ah,
better.
fuck.
And they had guys up in orbit
Did I fuck that
just
up?
basically so that
God
even
damn it.
other foreign governments from the trajectory point would think they were getting transmissions back from the moon. So they had people
Tranny
out,
missions.
basically outside the regular orbit where you just go around in circles.
God damn
Where
it.
it's geosynchronous, where you're in one spot,
Right.
transmitting back from a mathematical spot to
Tranny
like
was moving.
transmissions to full directions
Tranny.
to everybody. While the real mission was going on the moon.
So you believe they went to the moon? Do you think that it was Buzz Aldrin and
I don't know.
Neil Armstrong?
Before
and
Raymond
Michael
would tell me
Collins?
everything he done.
Ah, fuck.
He said, "I'm going to meet with you tomorrow," and he done.
Dude, that's like a movie.
He told me, "I'm
How
ready. I'm going to tell you everything." And then he was just totally, he was crazy.
But he did admit to you that what the public got was fake.
Yeah, he couldn't get into it.
Well, there's some footage from the moon that looks so ridiculous, and most people have never seen it.
Yeah.
There's some footage of them that here's the big speculation. This is one of the really big ones. Is that there was a lot of footage that they did where they were doing tests that they wound up just using for press releases. They're using like to say this is actual footage
No,
of the
that's
moon.
it. They
right?
faked stuff for the project because they wanted to be guaranteed of it. They had a
wanted to
real
have-
program. That's the truth. Yeah.
But there was a thing with Michael Collins, Gemini 15. There was a test photo of him with like a test rig on, and it was like suspended, and you could see the background behind him. It was clear that he was suspended on wires. And they took that same photo and blacked it out and used it as a press photo of him on an actual spacewalk. But it's the same exact
Yeah,
photo.
it's
They
PR
just-
stuff.
Yeah, they do that where they just go over it with it. Back then, you actually use an X-Acto knife.
Here's the thing. My dad, when he was just like a junior in high school, was in the Plan 2 program at UT. and they already had CD-ROMs and computers, and they had a nuclear plant under UT nobody knew about. And my dad told me about this when I was a teenager, and I would like later go.
Oh my God, did I just do it again?
And I Googled it. It's not even really in the news, but I've gone to UT and talked to them.
Jesus
yeah,
fucking
the
Christ.
reactor in the
They have
building?
a reactor?
Yeah, that Austin's got, and then no one even knew that Austin has 2 nuclear reactors in North Austin.
What?
Yeah, but the point was that was for you. That was after he was in college. They built the 2
There's a
more.
reactor under which building in Austin, Texas?
It's big. It's a big railway system under there, but it's built right under, like I said, Jester.
So there's a nuclear reactor in Austin, Texas. How many people know about this?
You know, it's in the literature. My dad told me about it when I was a kid. And I thought, I believe my dad. My dad told me about a Dallas hospital that was killing people for their organs. And like, I saw it on 60 Minutes.
What?
Yeah.
They were killing people for organs?
Yep.
Really?
My dad told me about that.
In Dallas,
And then it was on
Texas.
60 Minutes.
Yeah, my dad said when I was 16, he got a 15 ticket driver's course. He said, "Don't sound that organ donor card. I know hospitals that kill you."
Jesus
And I
Christ.
said, "Dad, you're kidding." He goes, "No, I was an oral surgeon every Mark Johnson. I've heard this one tell people all the time."
This is one of the creepiest things you ever
How about
hear. It's one
doctors
of those.
Can you imagine doctors that get kickbacks for organs that kind of let their
But see,
patients
doctors
die?
are seen as the highest caste of the elite. So they're the ones pulling all the stuff. I'm telling you, man.
You know how creepy it would be, like, to find out that a nurse that you were working with was killing people? But that's a story that happens over and over again.
All the time.
Is that real?
Some
I
crazy
never heard
nurse.
of that.
Smart
Oh,
killers.
there's been a bunch.
They
There's
get
been a
paid
bunch.
though? They get a
No,
kickback?
no.
That should be illegal.
No, these
should, it's
nurses,
safe to do that.
nurses decide they don't want to take care of somebody and they poison them. They have someone, maybe someone's dying slow and they don't like it. And they just like get tired of dealing with their bullshit.
That's some
Or
of the
they
time. A
want
lot
to
of
just
times
kill
they're
them.
sadistic.
Oh yeah, a lot of the times they're sadistic. There's been a lot
Dude,
of
you're
cases.
worse than I am about facts. You're absolutely on target. You know
There's no
everything
fucking
I
way I'm
know.
worse than you. You just
You know
rattled off that
you know
document.
everything I know, and you're on target. You just pretend you're not knowing all
The
this.
fact
No,
that you knew that document off the
Yeah.
top of your head like that
That's so Rain
means you
Man.
must have been obsessed with chemtrails, right?
No, I know a bunch of doctors.
How do the fuck do you
I think
remember
he's
that
got
shit?
a crazy mind.
No, I
You
used to.
got a
I had a
photograph,
photograph of him until I was 35, and now it's not good anymore. But
Whiskey
old,
steals that from
old
you.
stuff I remember. But I want to tell you guys the big enchilada.
Okay, let's hear
Please,
it.
the big
Do I have
enchilada.
to wear these headphones?
No. Well, the problem is when we don't have headphones on, we talk over each other.
Oh,
It's hard when 3 people are talking. No, it's none of our fault. It's just
I
natural.
got a conspiracy. You are Bill Hicks.
Huh? No, I'm younger than him. Totally different.
No, I agree. I love how I haven't had any success. It's all Bill Hicks. He was a funny guy, but give me a freaking break, man.
Oh,
I'm
don't
really-
listen to those
And then the
people.
families called me before and said, "Please stop the people saying you're Bill Hicks." And I'm
Oh,
like,
come
I
on,
don't
man.
control these damn people.
Don't worry about that. Put the headphones back on.
All right, put the headphones back on.
We'll be fine. So I need to
Put the
know.
handcuffs
I need
back
to
on.
know. What do you know about aliens? And how are aliens real?
All right, this is really big. So,
Okay. Yeah, pour another shot of that.
media.
Get this out
I have to
properly.
get out. Question is what's going on.
Oh yeah, what does he know now, right? Because he's in the office.
I don't know.
That would be the first thing
I
I
think the
did.
Joe Rogan experience deserves it.
The first thing I did, I would run to the office and I'd go, "Who's got the documents? Who's got the alien documents? Who's got them? Who's got them?" That would be the first thing I would want to know, right?
Cheers, sir. I got to piss too. Yeah, you're a robot. You never have to piss. All right, let me give you my best deep research approximation. Once again,
What do you think is going? What am I wrong to still hold out hope that aliens are real? Because I tell you, there's the 2 guilty pleasures that I still cling to. It's Bigfoot and aliens. Those are 2. Bigfoot not so much. I wish it was real, but I just don't.
Are
think
you
it
ready?
is. Yes. Bigfoot's real. No. Come on, Daddy.
Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm gonna give this big enchilada. Joe, there are
Yes.
aliens in this room right now.
For real?
Yeah, you're not of this world, bro.
Me?
You're the alien.
Oh, wow, I didn't know. It's like there was like an old comic book about that, about some dude who was a forgetful professor. And he realized at the end of it he was actually an alien from another planet that seemed sent down here to monitor people. He just forgot.
Well, here's what the elite believe, and let me be very clear to the video, take this out of context. I only go with what I can prove,
Oh, thank you.
and people can't even handle that.
Okay.
Well, I'm really surprised how much you knew every angle of so-called Pizzagate that I even forgot.
Well, to me, obviously we both have children, and when you hear
It's
about
creepy.
someone that wants to molest children, it's a special kind of evil. It's a special kind
And
of
you wanna
fucked
hurt
up, and it's also a special kind of bizarre, twisted sickness that the human mind is capable of latching
Because
on.
we've got hard programming to want to take care of kids and be nice to them.
There's something very crazy about people's brains. There's something very crazy about the weird variables that can potentially happen.
I agree.
All sorts of weird, crazy aberrations in standard behavior. You know, like this, the standard behavior of a bunch of people that are just normal folks. You got kids, I got kids. Oh, get the kids together for a play date. You sit down, you have a couple beers, you laugh, you joke. Have a good night, Bob. Good night, Steve. That's fucking normal shit, right? When you're normal and there's normal people around you, you assume that everybody is basically a good person. We all have our problems.
It's normal.
But
The
we're
big
basically a
gorgeous
good
chick
person.
that your wife comes in the bedroom, you get going. You don't look at a 5-year-old and think that's what I want.
No, there's some. What we're trying to say is there's some people out there that have this horrific programming, whatever the fuck it is that causes it. Is a bunch of psychologists trying to speculate, figure out what causes
But they need
pedophilia.
to be beating the head with a ball-peen hammer.
Well, the thing is, it's real, and it's
And
terrifying.
we can't
and
deny it's going on.
We can't deny it's real, and it's also like fucking Jared from Subway, the Subway guy. The Subway guy's in jail for being a pedophile.
And
Like,
they
what
team
the
up.
fuck,
They
man?
team up, and they usually have high intelligence. And there's armies. We're fighting a pedophile conspiracy, but beyond that, it's a vampire conspiracy in that they are interdimensionally sucking the essence of our youth,
Right.
and they believe they're possessed by an off-world entity.
They do.
Yeah, and then, Joe, I've been on air 22 years. I don't get into aliens, metaphysical, religion, any of that. I've studied the elite, and I've also communicated with a lot of the top people. And if you want to know, I will actually break down right now the best knowledge right now that's happening on the planet.
What's happening?
Let me give you a basic gestalt.
Okay. I love when you can use that word with full confidence. I've never said that. Let me give you a basic gestalt. I feel like, oh my God, such a fraud.
No, you're not.
No, but that's what I think if I use that word.
No, you'll get all this. You'll already have most of the
Okay.
static because you're a bookworm, a research worm, in a good way. The elite are all about transcendence and living forever and the secrets of the universe, and they want to know all this. Some are good, some are bad, some are a mix. But the good ones don't ever want to organize. The bad ones didn't want to organize because they lust after power. Powerful consciousnesses don't want to dominate other people. They want to empower them, so they don't tend to get together until things are really late in the game. Then they come together. Evil's always defeated because good is so much stronger. And we're on this planet, and Einstein's physics showed it, Max Planck's physics showed it all. There's at least 12 dimensions. And now that's why all the top scientists and billionaires are coming out saying it's a false hologram. It is artificial. The computers are scanning it and finding tension points where it's artificially projected and gravity's bleeding in to this universe. That's what they call dark matter. So we're like a thought or a dream that's a wisp in some computer program, some God's mind, whatever. They're proving it all. It's all coming out. Now, there's like this sub-transmission zone below the third dimension that's just turned over to the most horrible things, is what it resonates to. And it's trying to get up into the third dimension. That's just a basic level consciousness to launch into the next levels. And our species is already way up in the fifth, sixth dimension consciously, our best people. But there's this big war trying to like basically destroy humanity because humanity has free will and there's a decision to which level we want to go to. We have free will, so evil's allowed to come and contend, not just good. And the elites themselves believe they're racing using human technology to try to take our best minds and build some type of breakaway civilization where they're going to merge with machines, transcend, and break away from the failed species that is man, which is kind of like a false transmission because they're thinking what they are is ugly and bad, projecting it onto themselves instead of believing, no, it's a human test about building us up. And so Google was set up 18, 19 years ago. I knew about this before it was declassified. I'm just saying I have good sources. That they wanted to build a giant artificial system. And Google believes that the first artificial intelligence will be a supercomputer based on the neuron activities of the hive mind of humanity with billions of people wired into it with the Internet of Things. And so all of our thoughts go into it, and we're actually building a computer that has real neurons in real time that's also psychically connected to us that are organic creatures so that they will have current prediction powers, future prediction powers, a true crystal ball. But the big secret is, once you have a crystal ball and know the future, you can add stimuli beforehand and make decisions that control the future. And so then it's the end of consciousness and free will for individuals, as we know, and a true 2.0 in a very bad way, hive mind consciousness with an AI jacked into everyone, knowing our hopes and dreams delivering it to us, not in some PKD wirehead system where we plug in and give up on consciousness because of unlimited pleasure, but because we were already wired in and absorbed before we knew it by giving over our consciousness to this system by our daily decisions that it was able to manipulate and control into a larger system. There's now a human counterstrike taking place to shut this off before it gets fully into place and to block these systems and to try to have an actual debate about where humanity goes and cut off the pedophiles and psychic vampires that are control of this AI system before humanity's destroyed.
Wait a minute.
Humanity is only
control of AI. How the pedophiles getting control of AI?
The pedophiles at a whatever level, the devil, whatever you would call it, this interdimensional thing that gives them advanced off-world technology, the fallen one that's not of this world, is giving them advanced knowledge on how to construct these systems that have already been used before on other populations.
What? That's Satan? What are you
That's
talking about?
Let's say,
Explain that. You're
well,
saying
Satan
something
becomes
insane.
something that the stupid preacher tells you about who's totally controlled, or something you read about on in the news or TV.
Right?
But this is an interdimensional force that wants to influence us to build something that absorbs us and kills us, rather than the divine free will we're given to build something much better that empowers the species. So the species is now making a decision about its entire future.
Where are you getting this from?
That's what it is.
But where are you getting it from?
Looking at all the data, researching it, studying it, watching it. I mean, that's the big decision that humanity has now got before us.
So if you were directing someone to investigate this on their own, how would they do that? So if you say,
here's the problem: you get someplace finally in deep research where it's what every culture already said, what everybody already knew, what they're telling you in movies like Prometheus, what the elite admit the New York Times they believe in is this, seeded by off-world systems.
panspermia.
Yes, everything they're doing points towards this, and then you read their own writings. They believe we're this ugly, fallen, ugly species. We're all going to be killed. They're the rich billionaires who are better than us, and they're going to merge with machines and become gods and go to the next level.
But don't you think that most people who extrapolate from where we stand today with our cell phones and our Apple Watches and our integration with the computer and the internet constantly, don't you think that most people see that there's going to be some sort of symbiotic connection?
Yes,
it's a very easy thing
They were
to
said before.
I understand, but a lot of people were saying it
Well, here's
before.
the problem: who engineered what we were given? What is the point of the back door at the Trojan horse? Here's what I'm getting at.
Who engineered what?
Here's what I'm telling you. The elite literally believe interdimensionally they were given this information and then built it. And here's the thing: they built it, and Google admits, even at Data Dumps to Wired 2 years ago, that they're building an AI that will end human consciousness, free will, and take over, and the next species will rise out of that. They've already decided
But people have been talking. Marshall McLuhan was talking about that 50 fucking years ago.
Here's the deal: they built it. Amazon 2 years ago admits they can already, with 99% certainty, pick what their regular users are going to order before they
Hold on
order
a
it and have
second.
it ready.
Instead of dragging this out to some nefarious end, isn't it entirely possible that all these futurists, all these technological innovators, they all see the same end game? That there's going to be some sort of a complete integration between people,
But it's
and
beyond that. It's
artificial
beyond that. It's beyond
intelligence.
that. Historically, everybody saw this coming,
Right.
and so this big
All
battle,
the futurists, all the people that study the future.
before silicon chips were created. The point is,
Marshall McLuhan, I think it was in the 1970s, said that human beings are the sex organs of the machine world. And he was saying, even back then, that human beings are eventually going to integrate or become something that's a part
what
of
I'm telling you is there's a centralized system of what they're building that isn't naturally occurring.
Who is that?
And we're artificially
Who's
growing.
that?
The elites believe they're getting off-world,
All right, but who's
interdimensional.
building these things you're just describing right now?
I mean, if you actually read what all the globalists say, you've obviously read the writers, you know this show, they are getting not off-world, but interdimensional communications to then build this system that we see lowers our IQ, makes us live less.
I've never
Makes us
okay,
unhappy.
but when you're making these big statements, like they're getting interdimensional signals, is telling them to create these systems that lower IQs. That's something you got to really prove. Like if there's
Okay,
okay, please, if there's something you can show us,
all the studies show screen time, all the computers lowering IQs,
Right.
lowering fertility, lowering our health.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Is that a case? Is that a case of is somebody holding a gun to your head? Let me tell you about me. I'm addicted to this goddamn thing. I love watching
That was
YouTube
designed for
videos. I love taking pictures of shit. I love
It
looking
interfaces
things up.
you with humanity. It has a lot of beautiful things.
It does, but I'll tell you, they're very addictive. They're very addictive.
Well,
So,
Joe-
but hold on a second. Let me stop you right there. I don't necessarily think that's engineered to be addictive. I think it's engineered to be really well, and the fact work really well, and the fact that it works really well is very addictive. Just like little kids look at a screen. You put a fucking television in front of them when they're 1 year old and play some stupid commercial, and they're like, "Whoa,
Joe, they
I
picked
think."
the
But
frequency.
hold on a second. No,
to
they did not.
mesmerize
No,
you.
they
They
made
admit
better. Hold on a second. They made better and better technology that we're not designed to absorb. Human beings have exactly we have the exact same
Atlantean
DNA. We have the exact same DNA that we did 10,000
Ah.
years ago. Back when there was nothing like television, there was nothing like movies, there was nothing like stereo headphones and projectors.
Listen, don't
Hold on,
you
please. I'll let
already
you go on your crazy
seem
rant.
like it's happened
Hold on,
before?
please. You're interrupting my crazy rant. I'm telling you that this is a natural progression of this massive infatuation that we have with technology. They don't have to engineer it. It's natural. It happens to you. It happens to me.
they say
It
they're
happens to
engineering.
anybody who's looking at cooler and cooler
Yeah,
special
man.
effects in movies.
Ah, fuck
All
ass.
that stuff is a natural
And
thing.
Steve Jobs wouldn't let his kids play with iPad.
Well, he's a cunt. He's a cunt. Let your kids play with the goddamn
Joe, what I'm
iPad. They
telling
love
you
them.
is,
Fuck's wrong
that
with
was a
him?
great rant. I'm not disagreeing with
No,
you.
you interrupted it 10 times, you fuck.
Oh,
You gotta let him up.
I'll
I'll let you rant.
rant then.
I'm done now. Shit.
Yeah,
Let's
but you're
talk
sitting
about-
there.
let's
But hold
talk
on, let me
about-
get back to this.
We're not talking about the weather, Eddie. I'll tell you that right now.
Let me tell you right now. Let me tell you right now.
Fuck clouds.
Let me tell you. I'm trying to break this down. The
Hashtag
whole
fuck
thing is
clouds.
being set up to control.
Okay, what I'm telling
The
you is when
elite-
you're talking about the elites and interdimensional signals that they're receiving that are telling us to lower
Shit
our
ass.
IQ, you can't just say
We
that.
need proof.
Okay, let me give you proof.
That sounds so crazy, by the way.
Did we hear you?
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so crazy. I want to know where the aliens
There's
are.
the proof.
Are they on Earth?
And you know what? It's really cool to say,
I
no,
told
hey,
you,
maybe
you're
we're in a
the-
computer
you're
simulation.
listening to what I
Everybody talks about that. Everyone says, dude,
But
the
you're
latest
not.
science
You're
says.
not. You're not.
No, but
They're saying
people
that to
believe
make you
that
think you're not.
easily.
Hey,
People go,
Joe.
yeah, we're in a computer simulation. But then when you
Ah,
talk about
fuck
interdimensional,
balls.
like magical shit, like, wait a minute.
Exactly. Magic is a technology that hasn't been discovered yet.
Exactly.
And that's
Listen,
bullshit.
videos are fucking magic for sure.
Fuck yeah.
If I can, you and I could do this right now, and we can go like, here, we'll do it right now. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go right now. You want to talk some magic? Because this really is fucking magic. We're gonna do Instagram Live. Look at that right now. Right now, we're doing not
Okay.
Instagram. We're doing like one of those little Instagram stories. Instantaneously.
Infowars.com.
This is a whole new thing. Young James, all right? This has never
Joe,
existed
you ever
before.
played
go
on my
live?
rant?
Yeah.
Oh, check this
Occasionally I
out.
did. But I let you go a little longer than you let me go.
You just gotta be like I'm bad.
Eddie Bravo's on.
Hey,
What's that?
we're gonna go
Yeah,
live.
we're having fun, buddy.
I'm
Something wrong
joking.
with it. I gotta piss.
2,
Alex got to piss
Yeah.
again.
go piss.
Yeah.
No,
You're
no
like
how
humans, you don't
all
piss.
these lightweights.
Alright.
I'm just drinking coffee. I drank one of these Killcliff coffees. I drank one order of butter coffee.
Dude, I go
I'm
live
drinking
and
this.
Alex is gone.
I'm drinking this Air One.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
a
it's
conspiracy.
a conspiracy. I'm drinking some juice. I had 2 glasses of whiskey,
That's bullshit.
and these bitches are peeing. They
Yeah.
keep peeing.
I don't understand.
Hold your pee, bunch of little girl. That's something I take credit
Dude,
for.
when you told
That's
me,
the breakaway
this
society.
stuff,
That's what he does with his brand. I'm not sure. We're gonna go back to that. He's definitely high as fuck.
dude, when
This
you told me
is
this stuff about those Aldrin's telling him some fucking
exactly.
crazy shit,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my
We got him
god.
too high. We fucked up. We fucked up. I told you we were gonna get
You
him high
can't
though.
believe Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, we had to get him high. I knew that was the key. The key to make this podcast super special was, well, he asked for the whiskey himself.
Yeah.
So he started the
Is
party.
that yours or his?
That's his. Oh, that's ours. No, that's ours. This is Gentleman Jack.
62,000 live listeners.
This is Gentleman
this a
Jack.
record?
Yeah.
It's a
definitely.
record?
A big time record, yeah.
62,000 is
Yeah.
a record? Holy shit.
Gentleman Jack is this is they sent it to us, right? It's good. I mean good, and it all tastes terrible. It all tastes like you're sucking on the devil's asshole. It's all disgusting. It's all disgusting. I mean that's kind of half the fun of whiskey is that it's disgusting.
Oh,
Like,
he's
I don't want
back.
it to taste
Oh,
good.
shit.
Powerful
Here we
Alex
go.
Jones.
Alex, you're live on
Powerful.
Instagram.
I love this.
A lot of people thought that this was a conspiracy because Eddie went live on Instagram Live and you disappeared. So there was a lot of talk
He
online.
never existed.
There is no Alex
Jones is a
Jones.
hoax.
That's
No,
Rogan
I wasn't
confronted
trying
him
to interrupt you
about
earlier.
being Bill Hicks.
The globalists are
Oh.
anti-human. They think we're a bunch of dumb animals.
Where are the
They're,
aliens?
they're carrying us. They believe it's not aliens.
Does that
They're
have
already
to
here.
do
It's
with
interdimensional.
Hey, does
Ah,
that have to
shit.
do with the Luciferian Freemasonry type shit?
I'd love to break
Skull
that
and
down.
Bones. Skull and Bones. Break down. Because I know in that Albert Pike wrote the Freemason Bible. He's talking about Luciferian shit. So if you're a
I
Freemason,
feel a
your
power of Lucifer
Bible
seething in my hands.
says that
He
you're
talks about he
Okay,
found
go
the KKK.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Tell me about Albert Pike and the
No, I want to
Freemasons.
give. I mean, Joe. Here's the thing, Joe. You brought in rifle
This will prove your
questions
point.
about. I will in a minute.
It'll lead to your point because
You
you're
brought
talking
up
about
the whole
Samaritans.
point. You brought the whole. Let me do this first, please. You brought up the whole point about.
No more weed, Alex. No more.
Hey,
No more.
hey.
You're taking quotes from Buzz Aldrin.
When
I'm like,
Eddie
no more weed
Bravo
for you.
tells you went too deep, you
Hey,
went too
Yeah,
deep.
no more. I hear
Period.
you saying the smoke. You're talking taking quotes from
Here's
Buzz
the
Aldrin.
difference. I'm not trying to dominate the discussion.
Whoa.
I'm being nice.
You are
Listen,
being nice.
seriously, I want to be nice.
You are nice. You're a great guy. Look, I love you, man.
I love
I'm,
you too,
I'm
but
always
let me-
happy to see you.
What I'm telling you is that the globalists admit a lot of this. It's in a lot of their white papers, all their reports. If I'm going to actually give it to you, I will.
Oh.
They say they believe they're going to become gods. The rest of us are profane. and
Right, but all
get
that
to-
shit about interdimensional beings, giving them all the data.
Let me tell
Where's
you.
all that coming from?
Is there okay? You know where the theory of the species and where all the Darwin stuff came from. Where he had an hallucination and he was doing all this stuff from like demons. And I'm not saying that's
You
real.
said you confused Darwin with Descartes?
No, that's Darwin.
Didn't Descartes have it? Isn't he the one that
Darwin.
came up with the idea of science? Oh, it's science from a dream. So
Well,
Darwin's idea came, but Darwin was like really into channeling and stuff too,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And the guy
See,
that
he
he
always
came
knows
up,
and he acts like he doesn't. Okay, whatever.
so it's the guy that yeah, a lot of those guys.
Tesla.
Yeah, they get the technology. They believe from a freaking other dimension. I'm not
You
even
know what?
saying.
People
What's
so we're
irritating
cool
is
with
you
that.
know all about this as much as I do or more, Joe, and you sit there and act like you don't know.
I
Because
forgot
you're
about
afraid to give your audience all the information.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what you're saying?
You
You
saying
know
I'm
what?
a shell?
Hey, Joe.
No, I'm
You
saying
are
you're smart, but you know all the shit I'm bringing up, and you say I'm making it up that's interdimensional.
Well, I just
Tesla-
wanted to know where it's coming
Tesla
from.
would
Tesla
say,
definitely did say
Tesla's the
that.
smartest guy ever.
So
A million
did Darwin. I mean,
Yeah.
let me tell you.
Well, no,
You probably already know
James
this.
followed it up.
You probably already know
But I
that.
know that Darwin's partner, the guy that he developed the theory of evolution for, they both had like a similar theory and came together with it, and he was like really into it to the point where he was into channeling and all sorts of weird
I
stuff
love how
that
he knows this.
discredited him. I listened to him on
Discredited
radio that.
That's what they believe. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's real. CNN's going to have the other all put
No,
together.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they discredited him. They just put all the emphasis on Darwin. That's why you only
I
hear
know.
about
Let me
Darwin's
tell you where
work.
it all came from.
Okay,
Albert
please
Pike,
do.
Freemason.
That's phase two.
What about
He was
the
a
aliens?
Let me tell you.
Give up the aliens. I know you know.
You got to go
No.
back to.
You guys let me point it out.
I do. We do.
I said you got to start there.
Which is fucking right. You don't get to do a show like this very
Oh,
often.
it's great. I love it. I'm not mad. Let me just tell you.
Please.
Here's the If you look at this, that's what I'm telling you. I don't believe it. Okay. I'm telling you, studying what the establishment believes, none of them are atheists. They all believe they're getting interdimensional stuff. So if you go back to Galton, Westwood, and Huxley, you recognize all these modern names. If you go back to Darwin, Darwin wrote this. These letters are public. You can read these online from the National Royal Archives of England and stuff. They all believe they were all part of a secret breeding program where the British thought they would have like this superhuman if they bred these 6 families together to like create all this is like mainline British history. This is like
Right.
this is known in the whole eugenics history. And then Galton was related to all these other guys. In the 1850s, he starts having these ideas. He says there's a double helix to snakes for science and medicine. And he said, we're going to discover the keys and the building blocks to life. And he said it's going to be called biometrics, and we'll track everybody by reading their genetics. This is what Hitler freaked out about and picked up. And something like 8 of the 14 new sciences, like half or more than half the sciences that came since the 1860s were all from Galton and all from Darwin. So the media and the liberals give you this one thing, origin of the species, like, I'm not saying it's wrong or right, it's super heavy, like galactic stuff. They give this to you. This is only one little boiled down BS that we have. You go to what these guys really wrote, they were like intermarrying and involved in wicked seances and channeling and all this weird ass crap. And then they envision, okay, there's a double helix DNA discovered. Okay, biometrics. Okay, world government. Okay,
Right.
computers. Okay, atomic weapons. Give me the equations. And they were like all then like going to other scientist meetings and go, we believe there's a program where you take different matter together in isotopes and it'll cause an explosion. And it's like they were like given either humans are super advanced, already have this knowledge from somewhere else in our genetics and were here before and were able to then manifest this through genetic memories and archives, or it was given off world. But humans like have all this data compacted and compressed, ready like programs.
What's that called? Like the Akashic records or something like that? Is that what
I
people
mean, all
believe?
of it is
Akashic.
epigenetics. Here's the deal.
Epigenetics.
They'll take chickens with eggs and do 10 generations at major universities that have never seen a hawk. They put them in these 20-foot ceilings, and they'll have a triangle fly over and a square fly over, and little baby chickens never care. Generation after generation go on for 15 years. They fly one hawk over, and they all squat, yelling, screaming, and run into their nest. Now, they never saw a hawk. They never saw it kill a chicken.
Generation after generation.
It was compressed data knowledge
Right.
of the hawk that is passed on genetically.
Yeah, they say that's why children are always afraid of monsters. It goes
Used to
down.
be tigers and bears.
Yeah, it used to be cats.
My son just wants to be chased so much. He wants to practice getting away from a predator.
Yeah.
He loves that the most. He wants to get away. You can't catch me. And I'll just start
As a man, we want to be ready to fight one.
Yeah. Well,
As a man.
some predators you can't fight. You can get the fuck away from that tiger at the zoo in China. I recommend you do that.
That sounds good.
I give you a spear, I think you take it out, Joe.
Not even,
Hey,
man.
keep going.
You
I
probably
love
wouldn't
what you're
use
saying,
it.
Alex.
You gave it one claw.
You
might
lost
not
it
even
for a
get it
second. I'll admit that. I was like, oh shit, we should have let him smoke weed. But then now you're
I think you
bringing
brought
me
it back
back.
down.
You're
You
bringing
came
me
back.
back.
You came back.
Yeah,
You're in
you
a good
came back
spot.
strong. Keep it going.
You're in a good place right now.
Keep it going. You're talking about now you're getting into Albert Pike. Ooh.
Well, he's the founder of the KKK, the top Confederate general, head of the Illuminati worldwide at that time.
So let's establish something. It's like maybe people that are listening to this might go, "What in the fuck are these guys rambling about?"
Well, I'm exposing the KKK.
Let's establish this. Throughout history, from the beginning of organized human
There's no
beings,
secret knowledge folks don't want to pass on.
there's also been people conspiring to control whatever,
Secret society.
and people conspiring to control whatever aspect of it, whether it's political, whether it's the military, like whatever it is. There's always been that. It's always happened. There's been military coups all throughout history. There's been wars all throughout
And the
history.
United States just had a peaceful one, bro.
How so?
I mean, dude, the intelligence community leaked all the data to bring down the globalists. Eddie's asking
The
the question.
intelligence community leaked all what data?
They leaked all the WikiLeaks. He's over here saying,
Wait,
Alex,
what?
why are you
Wait a
suddenly
minute.
pro
So you're
government?
saying that the Russians didn't do it?
No.
Really? How do you know this?
Because the mainstream media said.
But hold
I
on.
mean, Joe, give me a break.
No, I just
can't
want to
tell.
know how you know.
If you know me for like 16,
Yes.
17 years,
Yes.
you ever know me to say I have a source and I'm making it up? Be honest.
No.
No
No, I mean,
shit.
I've got sources
So
as high
you
as it
can't.
goes.
So you can't tell us how you know.
Let's just say I got data today from a head of state.
And what did he say?
I can't tell you.
Okay, don't tell me.
The point is
So
that,
glad you didn't tell me.
yeah, but the point is we screwed it up and released it early, so it caused the problem.
Explain the whole Russian diversion.
We didn't mean it on purpose. That's always mad at us.
Let's start with that. The whole
Start with
Russian thing. Because there's intelligent people like my students are like, you don't believe the Russians hacked the
So where
election?
did it come
Like,
from?
how do they?
So why are you
smart people
saying?
believe that?
Yeah, why are you saying that the intelligence agency leaked all this and not Russia?
Because I was told before it was all leaked by the former director of psychological operations at CIA, it was going to come out.
He told you that it was going to be leaked?
Yeah, before I was never like in bed with the CIA. I've interviewed people from the CIA, NSA, Defense Intelligence, you name it over the years. I mean, it's all in the news.
But isn't it entirely possible?
The General Flynn, former head of Defense Intelligence, tweets all my articles. I'm not telling you it's some secret. I mean,
Right.
the enemy knows. The point is that I'm seen as an honest, good person that understand what's going on. I'm out for humanity. I don't want personal power. I want to help people.
But isn't it entirely possible? I mean, like, how does information like that get out?
Well, there's an open rebellion against the criminals that hijacked our government. And so we overthrew the globalists and Obama, and we're taking them over in France, in Italy, in Spain, in Greece, in the UK. The only place we're not successful so far is Canada.
So
We
you
just took Australia, took Australia with the
What does
idea
that
of
mean?
free and open society.
What does that mean?
Damn.
See, most people sit there and brag about stuff. I'm telling you what's really going on.
What does it
What's
mean by
going on?
we took Australia?
I mean, globalists are losing countries every month right now. It's the Liberty Movement.
What says that?
These are
What
free
has
market
to happen
people that
for them to
want you
lose?
and your family to be successful and aren't out to hurt you to make you poor like the globalists. There's good people, and they use the intelligence agencies to defeat the globalists, and there's been a major counteroffensive, and the globalists made one wrong move. It happened 5 years ago. It was system-wide leak 4 years ago. I've had CIA whistleblowers all up on the show, colonels and special operations, you name it, who were authorized by high-level senators come on my show. They ran a counter coup. There was a deal
Who's a
they were
high-level
to actually
senator?
take over Europe and then the United States. And by that, make us not convert, but submit to Islam, not criticize it or they blow stuff up. They thought they'd bring in some, new masculine arm that would make us submit. And it got so bad that even our own intelligence agencies that would have been corrupted said, this is too far, we're not doing it. And so America, about 4 years ago, started coming back up for air. And now we're just overthrowing their whole system. There's a huge war going on. It's beautiful. We are kicking their ass on every front.
Now, like I said at the top, it's the dawn of a new age.
Oh, fuck me.
You were against George W. Bush, Clinton, Obama. All that. You were not a Republican or a Democrat. You were against government, but now it's a new day. Now the conspiracy theorists, like yourself, you're the king of them, we're pro-government, and the sheep, they're like out there protesting crime. Explain that.
Well, I mean, look, it's not that Trump's perfect. He really genuinely is like going into all these corporate incentives and one-sided deals. There's no meetings now. There's no lobbyists. He banned them all for a lifetime. He literally goes in with actuaries, computer programs, and goes with super NSA technology that he even had before he was in. And he says, because the generals came to him years ago, they said, we can deliver all this to everybody. We don't want to make America poor. We don't want to have big wars. We want to just have prosperity, sir. We've got next to free energy, all these technologies, cures for cancer. We're ready to release it. That's why he talked about the State of the Union, or his first inaugural speech. And so there will be the second. And he just really cares about humanity, and he's not a Satanist. He doesn't like raping kids. He likes super hot Eastern European women. And just, who wants that? Who wants a little kid? You know that. I mean, he's somebody not out to get humanity, and he's got the intelligence agencies totally backing to the hill. And it's just a super epic moment to be alive.
What's going on so far with Trump?
Well, hold on 1 second. So, what do you think when you said earlier in the podcast that you don't think he's perfect, right? What do you think he could do different that would make people accept him?
Well, I said last week he should just about torture he did the next day. Just magically, I guess.
Are you saying that you came up with the idea and you
Say
listened
that
to
again.
it?
I missed it. What did you say?
Disavow torture.
There's a zeitgeist, and I'm in the zeitgeist. So in that zeitgeist, you just kind of see everything.
Right.
Even though you're like just a normal person, you can like look into any avenue, any window.
But your take on it is that it's good to have him in, despite whatever flaws people may perceive
he has goodwill. He wants prosperity,
and he's not a part of the system that he replaced.
That's why they're totally against. And he likes full-grown women.
Okay, I believe that. You don't have to say that anymore.
I
understand you. I
believe most people up there,
serious shit.
most people like to grab a kid out of your backyard and torture him for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. They kidnap, they torture, they rape.
Oh, in these emails, you thought that was.
Come on.
And the emails
What's
are like,
going on?
in the emails are like, well, these are kind of exhausted. We're about to have to retire them. You need to get in there. Some of these are damaged. But look them up. You didn't believe me.
I know. I believe you. Look. I don't know what
They
that's
take
code
all
for.
3-year-olds in there, and a big old guy comes in and just breaks their jaw and goes, "Grr."
So do you think
Trump's
that?
going after him? Is that what's going on?
Oh yeah, what
That
he's
sounds
done,
good.
if he's successful, it's an entire route. Like a lot of people aren't just getting indicted right now; they're getting taken care of right now. Right
What
now.
about the Vatican? Are they?
What is, how is that
Hey,
work?
you see
They have
the
a whole-
Vatican?
they're a
Trump's
country.
the devil. Stop Trump. He's the devil. Stop him. Anything we've got, stop him.
That's what the Vatican said.
Yeah, the Vatican pedophile central is
Dude.
shitting their pants over Trump.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah, can you imagine Trump going after the Vatican?
It's a country.
Yeah,
That's what's
it's-
crazy about it.
Is he?
Yeah.
What? Because I
You
always
think
wondered.
he is?
This is what I would. Hey, Alex, I always thought, how weird is it that everybody in South Park is making a goddamn episode about them being pedophiles, and yet nobody's investigating what's going on here. So to me, then you watch Conspiracy of Silence, that documentary that never got released about the whole network. Then you
I'm
begin
gonna
to
share that.
realize, oh shit, no, the reason, my opinion is the reason no one's getting arrested at the Vatican at a high rate anyways, is because everybody at the top is involved.
That's it. Let me give you the good news. I'm not here to kiss the ass of the establishment. A lot of patriots in the government who I've always criticized ended up being the people that heard me bitching and you bitching do something. They've done something. And they're really trying to reverse this whole thing right now. And there's a full-out war inside the government of guys that like to eat steaks, drink beer, and have women versus a bunch of pot-bellied pedophiles.
Whoa. Jesus Christ. What's really fucked up is that the people that before the Sandusky thing came out, the people around it probably heard rumors. That's probably someone who talked, someone that said something, but nobody really wanted to believe it.
Well,
And then when it did happen,
Well, Conspiracy of Silence is a documentary you can watch on
I've seen
YouTube that
it.
never got released.
Yeah.
They're talking about the base, the headquarters of the pedophile network. It's an international network. Is in Omaha, Nebraska, at Boys Town.
Yeah.
They like taking orphans. Orphans, there's different levels. There's guys they don't want any trouble. They just want orphans. You know? And then there's the psychos that want to go kidnap them. There's like the hardcore people, and you know what? They're top officials in every aspect of government and celebrity. It's not everybody, but it's enough. So there's enough people involved that nobody's investigating anybody because they're all involved. They all better keep their
Well,
mouth
it's
shut.
just so crazy that something gets to the level that the Catholic Church got to with it.
Yeah, no
Sure,
one's
I don't want to get
arrested.
into it. You want to hear
Epic
about a
child
conversation
molestation.
with my? You want to hear about a conversation with myself and Donald Trump?
Yes.
Sure.
Go
Are you allowed to do this? Wait a minute before you do that. Should
Just
you do
let
this?
him. Who cares if he
Well,
doesn't?
he
Let him
admitted
He's in
go.
trouble. He's drunk and high.
No marijuana. That was,
Okay.
I
was
had to drink up this.
I
This is
understand.
freaking. This is
It's
apple
American.
juice.
Let's go.
No, Trump basically said we're going to clean it up, Alex. We know all about it, Alex. We're going to stop him.
Whoa.
And we're going to do it.
But he also said Obama's from Kenya.
Well, that's a huge intelligence op. You want to write that down? You want to know about Reagan? Let's think about birth certificate. Okay. So now I can tell you the full scoop on that.
Right? What do you think happened
I
there?
know exactly.
They told him that Obama was from Kenya. They fucked with him.
You want to hear it right now?
Yes. We'll go back to the Trump story.
Let me write down Trump story.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Thank you, Eddie.
Trump.
Bravo.
We are, Jamie, you better add extra
Okay.
juice to that.
Here, one more for Phil.
Hold on.
Apple juice. Apple juice.
Maybe not Alex. Come on.
Okay. Secret. One more.
Jesus Christ.
I'll
If you
go 5
give me
more
another,
hours.
if you
I
pour
haven't been
another
there 20
drink
years.
for me, I'm gonna fucking.
How many years
I'm gonna
have you
send
been
you
doing
to
this,
another
Eddie?
dimension.
How many years?
7 years. So
You're
what
gonna be on
were
the
you just
moon.
about to say?
What was the issue?
Jesus Christ. Do you remember what the question was, Jamie?
What Donald Trump told you.
No, that wasn't it.
Yeah, no, you were about to say what Donald Trump told you, but
No.
what was it about?
You wanted to know about something else.
What the
It was
fuck was it
pedophilia,
about?
but let's leave.
But hold on a second.
Let's
You're
move on.
just fucking with my memory. What was it? You were just about.
I should have a good memory. Not
Jamie. Oh, we're too high.
Let's go to the Trump
I'm
story.
not high. I didn't do
Okay.
anything.
Whatever. Trump. Jamie's gonna figure it out. What is it? Yeah, someone's gonna tell him on Twitter, and we'll figure this out. Jesus Christ.
And then I'll write
It's the
that.
problem with being too high and talking over each other.
Trump-
He's about to tell
So
some
you
really
go for 5
important
minutes.
shit.
You go for 5 minutes.
Trump calls
I'm being
you
rude.
how
Sorry,
many
go ahead.
times a week on average?
No,
you
no,
go
no.
for a
Ed,
long time. 10 hours, Joe.
no.
This should be your longest podcast.
We'll definitely peter out before then.
No.
No, it won't go forever, dude.
What is? No one knows what the fuck we were just talking about.
A minute. Yeah.
How did we
Joe,
all
Joe
forget?
asked a really great
Oh.
question.
How did we all forget?
Really good question. Because we're blasted.
Dude, you better call your dispensary and get some answers.
So you were talking about the Vatican. We were talking about pedophiles in the Catholic
Birth
Church.
certificate.
Oh, the
Birth
Kenyan
certificate,
thing.
that's
That's
it.
right.
Okay, so
Kenyan.
let's figure it out.
The
Powerful Twitter.
yeah.
Okay.
So tell me what
This is
happened.
a place where I'm not ashamed of this because I got conned. When I've been conned, which happens, every once in a while, I admit it later. We were in trouble.
That's all. Jim.
Okay, what happened?
Dude, that's all.
Okay,
Okay,
go ahead.
Don't interrupt me, lady. Come on.
I only told you a funny
No. Kenya. What happened?
Okay, Kenya. Okay, and everything I'm going to say, your listeners can write this down. They can search engine everything I'm going to say and learn to choose for themselves. Because the journey with influencers is not that I'm that smart. I'm just like you. I'm having this journey, and I'm going to show you. So this is what happened.
Okay.
Obama's running for office, and Hillary's people, because I followed every day, Hillary's campaign, this letter came out, puts out these morning Kenyan. I'm like, screw her. I was quietly, I'm really ashamed of this. I told listeners this, so instead, I was an early on Obama supporter, and then I wanted to try to unify people. I didn't like John McCain. So I said, yeah, he's bad, the Democrats are bad, but I hated what had happened. So
We were fooled by Obama too.
well, I was
Oh,
hoping,
let him talk.
I mean, I wasn't an Obama supporter, I just
Right.
didn't attack him.
You liked it better than the alternative.
Yeah, I didn't push him for office. I was just like hoping that all his BS is real. So, and then I started hearing these leaks, and it was from Hillary. You can Google this. Hillary first generated the whole deal. So I'm sitting there hearing that he's born in Kenya. So I'm thinking, I don't care. That's much BS. And then the articles started coming out as the right wing picks it up and does the research, and it's his wife in like 2008 and 6 and 7 making speeches going, my husband born in Kenya knows about the immigrant's experience. It's a video you can pull up. Show you Obama. Oh yeah, pull it up. And then Harvard Law Review, which he headed up for at least 3 years. He was the editor. He says, I was born in Kenya, a little bit blurred by his picture.
Really?
Oh yeah. Says he's born, but he wasn't born in Kenya. Wait till I get to this.
Oh, so that was some.
It's just like Pizzagate.
Oh,
It's what? I finally learned how to
Double cross.
Well, it's not pedophilia. I mean,
hold on, let's hear her say it.
Here you go.
Which is still plaguing so many of our communities, which you all know, a lot of that is due to homophobia. Barack has led by example. When we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in Kenya, we took a public HIV test for the very point of showing folks in Kenya
Okay,
that
but that doesn't mean that he was
There's
born in
another
Kenya.
clip.
Like if
There's
I,
another clip. He just found that fast. There's another where she said, there's the Harvard Law Review, which he edited, where he says I was born in Kenya.
oh, okay. Well, that but right there, what she's saying is his homeland. Like if you're from Ireland, like I know
Yeah, you're
kids that
Irish
are born
or
in America,
Italian,
they
yeah.
want to go back to Italy or Ireland or it's always
I
the
totally
homeland. They call it the homeland.
But listen, let's just going on to what were we covering?
Kenya.
Trump.
The birth certificate.
Kenya. So yeah, Trump got involved in all that.
So-
the whole birth certificate. Go ahead.
No. So how did it? What did someone like leak that information to him to try to make him look foolish because he chased after it?
Yes. So we're just researching. It's not anybody trying to make anybody foolish.
So do you think they just maybe made an incorrect
Well,
judgment?
we found out all about it. This is stunning information. So people want to say he's illegitimate. They then look at him in the Harvard Law Review saying he's born in Kenya. They look at clips. They look at the fact he won't release his birth certificate. He had a name Barry Soetoro in Indonesia. He had all these weird cutout names. He had like 5 aliases.
Wow. Why is
Then
that?
he wrote Dream. Look it up. He wrote Dreams of My Real Father.
Right.
Or Dreams of My Father. Dreams of My Real Father is a documentary. And in it, he talks about Frank Marshall Davis, the communist, famous pornographer that he spent summers with. He looked side by side with the same guy. So they were worried that it was going to be Frank Marshall Davis, but it had actually been his mom in like a scam, making money off. She was CIA, bringing back people to the U.S. and sham marriages to have them immigrate. It was basically a cover up of the fact that his real father was Frank Marshall Davis, the communist. And so that's who Obama's real dad was. And Dreams of My Real Father breaks it all down. It's online. It's pretty powerful info.
So what does that mean?
It just is a perfect example of you're not born in Kenya. You're really born in Hawaii, on the main city-based island there in Honolulu to Frank Marshall Davis.
Right.
And your grandfather's CIA, your mother's CIA. That's all been declassified. You're this cutout
His
person.
mom was the CIA.
Oh yeah.
What was she? What did she do for the CIA?
She was a sex operative. Yeah. And she posed for news photos in kind of Betty Page style with sex operators
Jesus.
in photos at Frank Marshall Davis's house.
And you know this because you've seen these?
I've interviewed the people involved. I've read Dreams of My Father, where he admits I stayed at Frank Marshall Davis's house. He was like my dad. My grandfather had a special unspoken relationship with him. These are quotes. Look up Obama Frank Marshall Davis. Or Obama Dreams
So
of My
what do
Real
you think
Father.
about the conspiracy theory that Obama was like bred by the CIA the whole way through, all the way
That's
up?
true. It's on theory.
Oh, really?
When you say CIA, that just means like a marketing project of whoever was in power at the time. 4 or 8 years, whoever's in charge of that, whoever shows interest, can go in and then just basically be involved in controlling the levers of the social engineering of the society.
So what does that have to do with Obama growing up? Were those rumors that he was in a CIA agent in Pakistan while he was supposed to be in Colombia? What
Yeah,
about
no,
those? Is that real?
exactly. He probably spent 6 months. Yeah, there's the supposed father Barack versus Barack II versus Frank Marshall Davis.